Welcome to Sad Boys, a podcast about feelings and other things also. I'm Jarvis.
I'm Jordan.
Friend of the show, Samwitch, is here.
Hello.
It's a child. They pose with children. Little baby children. To cut to...
Hello. I am Sam.
Oh yeah,
Like the
sorry.
movie.
I call you Samwitch. Like this is a reverse thing of a lot of our Twitch friends. They'll be named like Spunko.
Yeah.
And,
Like,
and
Ryan is fine.
yeah, and then it's like, this is our friend Spunko, and he's like, what's up? But Samwitch is like, I call Sam Samwitch just in real life.
Yeah, it is kind of like, it feels like a full legal name for me, but it's like just odd enough that it's like, that's not your real name.
I think it's like, it's a little bit like how if anybody ever is referencing you, to me, they will say Samwitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
It's like
Bond,
first name,
James
last
Bond.
name. Yeah, Samwitch.
It also allows you to cosplay or really take a step back into your childhood before you knew that sandwich was how you said the word.
Yeah.
Like,
It's how I say
sandwich?
sandwich. Now forever. Yeah.
How'd Samwitch come to pass? How'd that name lock in?
What do you think of your crazy
Because
ideas?
she's a fucking witch. Have you seen her past life on TikTok?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh
my God, you have lore.
Oh, lore. I really, I just was like coming up with a couple different ones. The ones that got scrapped were like Sam on Cam, which thank God.
Very funny.
Like, thank God.
Oh,
I
that's
didn't
such
do
a
that one.
2008
Yeah,
vlogger.
the first YouTube channel that's ever existed type name.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
the opening is like a motion graphic
Yeah.
preset.
It's Sam on Cam is what if iCarly was about you.
Hey guys, it's Sam. And then I think Sam Hamwich was one that I liked too, which I remember being so upset when that one was taken.
How was that taken?
I remember
not-
going into the guy's chat and I was like, this guy doesn't even fucking.
I love that he's live.
He's malding in there. I'm like, oh.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Yeah. And then I had an underscore. It was Sam_Witch for a while, and I was bent out of shape about that forever.
That was embarrassing.
No, it was like, I was like, people aren't going to understand. They're going to think it's first name, last name. And then eventually I saw Samwitch on Twitch, and it was an account that was like unused, and I messaged them and I was like, hey, so like, would you drop this? And it was like 6 months, and eventually they were like, yep, no problem. And then I snagged it.
Wow.
Sam_Witch. I love your
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
I've like had that experience before, but those people never go active again.
No, well, here's the thing is I don't have it on any other platforms.
Right.
And the Twitter name, Samwitch, I'll probably never get because it is followed by Obama.
Obama follows everybody.
Right, that's true.
Oh.
I did hear that. I felt less special.
Him and John Cena.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I assumed
I thought you meant Michelle.
Michelle?
You thought the guy.
Oh.
But, that's so funny.
That's crazy to
I guess I thought of
assume.
the black woman.
Yeah.
Obama's husband.
Yes.
Obama's husband.
course.
That's both of their last names.
Michelle Obama and Obama.
There's a
The dog. Bo Obama.
there was a look. Obama's war crimes aside, he's a public figure in America, and he was front row.
He's kind of famous.
He was front row at the All-Star game.
That's so funny.
And I was watching, and Nikola Jokic is he's like running towards out of bounds for the ball, and he's about to run into Obama, and then Devin Booker like trucks him because he's about to
Mr. President,
hit
get down.
Obama. Yeah, and then Devin Booker posted it with like Secret Service as the caption.
That's awesome.
That would be. Do you like go to jail for treason if you accidentally stomp on the president?
I think, or if you don't succeed in saving
Oh
him.
wait,
Yeah.
speaking of Obama.
Okay.
Thanks, Obama. We have to talk about something important that's not even on our board.
Oh.
Jacob,
Who'd you vote for?
pull up the clip.
What can I ask just briefly? Why, whenever I see a clip of it's always like one of the most storied living human beings on Earth. They're always on a show called like Expertine Coffee Experience that I've never fucking heard of in my entire life.
Never in my life. And it's always someone with 3 names. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they were on Johnny Mark Jones's podcast.
Oh, you listen to Curtain
Of
Weekend
course.
as well?
Oh yeah, Curtain Weekend by
See.
Johnny Mark Jones.
Can't get enough of it.
And then you go to their YouTube channel and they'll have like 5 videos and they'll all be like very A-list celebrities, and then they
Yeah.
just stop making
And
them.
then
Dozens
4
of views.
subscribers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the
Dozens
most like
even.
industry plant shit ever.
Yeah.
Dozens of views, 40 minutes of each episode is like about nootropics only.
Maybe they spend all their budget on those 5 episods and then they go, well,
Well,
shoot.
Clooney didn't bring the eyes we were hoping
Well
for.
done.
it's like I could have warned you, I guess.
You look so sad.
My face when I
sad.
reveal aliens exist.
Look
And
sad.
no one cares.
He's
No
gonna-
one even knows I just revealed aliens exist.
They don't even know.
Are aliens real?
Oh.
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from
Why
the
does this
president.
coffee
of the
look
United
so
States.
full?
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
So can I just take issue with Brian Tyler Cohen here?
Don't you dare.
He didn't ask a single follow-up question.
No.
Obama said yes, they're just not in Area 51 and I haven't seen them. And then he's like, and what's your favorite coffee?
He's like, that America's Next Top Model episode. Let's move
Yeah,
on to
I was
that.
like, can you believe they went to Italy?
I think there's a really
He's
good
like, yeah,
chance.
that's where modeling happens.
I actually met ET. We touched fingers, and I saw the scope of the universe, and the universe looked back.
Who is this guy?
Do you think Stranger Things fell off?
Did you say who is this guy?
Yeah, who is this guy?
He looks like he was generated
No,
by
I was going to say he looks
ChatGPT.
like if every white guy on Raya ran into each other really quickly. And that's who he
If
looks like.
lemonade
they
stand
work
as
together.
one lemonade
So,
man.
Getting
so
Obama
Obama
with it.
says yes. He says, yep, real. He says, we don't keep him in Area 51. And then he comes up with a conspiracy.
He's like, unless they were keeping it from the president.
Yeah, why is he Rogan posting?
Yeah.
He's doing like full like, you know, it'd be interesting. Maybe there's a monkey underground and it does jujitsu, and maybe
He's
that's
also
where it
doing a
lives.
thing only I have seen myself do, which is holding a coffee mug not by the handle.
No, did you see how full it was? It was full like entirely to the top. Like, look how full.
Oh, I think that's just the liner.
Oh, I thought it was full.
He's
literally
drinking
to the-
blood. Actually, yeah.
It looks like a prop
It
cup.
does look like full to the brim.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's children's plasma that he's sipping on.
Also, fuck a handle, I guess.
That's what I mean.
That's what I'm saying. I've done this, but I am afraid to admit it.
Well, that's crazy.
So aliens are real, but you know.
I guess.
And then next question, I suppose.
He kind of fudged the angles a little bit. He was just like, or not.
Apparently, he was the first YouTuber to interview interview Joe Biden.
Oh, okay.
I bet that was an electric conversation.
Yeah, wait.
Does Joe know that happened?
That
the wrong
also
way?
is the least inspiring, like, first ever.
Yeah.
It's like first woman to go to space, first YouTuber. Sorry, lower in life being first
How was the ice
YouTuber.
cream, Joe? And he's like,
Well, corn pop, and he just is loading corn pop.
Now,
like, okay.
that's the same answer you gave me for the aliens question and the coffee question.
Exactly.
I don't know, Jack.
Good point.
Corn pop.
Corn pop.
Thank you so much for coming, Mr. President. Vote blue no matter who.
He's like, who's gonna come get me?
Who's gonna come get me?
Who's coming to pick me up?
Or he
got
does
my
when it's like the concert, and he's just like,
He was vibing, dude.
How much longer do you think he has,
I thought you
realistically?
were gonna say how much longer do we have to do this
Stupid
show?
show.
I'm like, you said
You're
We're
like,
almost done.
yeah, so can I get out of here?
We're getting a little political.
yeah, you said this is gonna be a controversial one.
Can we put in the description, like really, really low, and it just put like exciting interview with our friend, complete utter talent and conservative right-leaning ideologue.
Just all the way at the very, very, very bottom.
Full name.
Yeah,
So
put it in
after
there.
staring at this frame for a few more seconds, I have a few more things to say.
Yes, speak on it.
Brian Tyler Cohen, initials are BTC, like Bitcoin.
Okay.
Also,
Something to think about.
This was originally captured and watermarked by a X account called UAP James, which is UAP is the new term for UFO. It's unidentified
that's
aerial
right.
phenomenon.
Oh,
And so that is very funny. It's like if it was UFO Mark.
I'm
Yeah.
always a really big fan of people being like, wow, our community keeps being made fun of. What if we kind of change the
what if we
acronym?
make it a little? They'll never know.
No, it would
They'll
be
think it's a new
weird.
one. A new one just dropped.
Oh, aerospace, like up? Nice.
So did they didn't talk about this at all for the
Never
rest of the
again.
episode?
Never,
okay,
never
so it just
mentioned again.
Never forget.
And then they posted this clip, so they were like, okay, well, we're just gonna
Well,
throw that one in.
this is like a clip on a clip. This is like the retro chainer is stealing content from UAP James, who's stealing content from Brian Tyler Cohen.
UAP James was watching the podcast episode and heard Obama say this, and whoa.
And he's like, whoa. We got to clip that. We got to throw our watermark on there.
What in the world is the rest of the caption?
Yeah.
By official reports, blah, 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 at NASA. And then Poly market, 11% yes till 2027. Are they talking about 11% yes likelihood of aliens?
aliens.
That's the poly market. Kind of like how Jesus returning in by 2027 is like at 6% or something now.
Nice. Good
But
time to buy in.
the issue with I mean, I don't have time to get into prediction markets, but
Right, me neither.
it's
Which I was gonna bring that up.
I was just gonna say that like these things are easily gameable. Like the reason that Jesus Returning is even at as high a percent as it is because there's another polymarket bet to see if it will reach above a certain percentage, and so people are betting on that, which is then running up.
Funny.
And the entire foundation that prediction markets exist upon is completely fraudulent in that it's all gambling, and that's all it is.
Sheesh.
So
Okay,
that's
well,
my
the
little.
more you know.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Are you ever gamble? You don't.
I was gonna go do that right after this.
And that's why you're asking how soon can you get out of here?
Yep, exactly.
We filmed in Vegas.
There was actually a Kick account that was re-streaming. It was so funny. Somebody found this while I was live. There was a Kick account. I was playing Minecraft. They cut out my camera and put it over the top of a gambling slot thing, and then they were streaming it on Kick. And the username was like Scatter Judy. And it was so funny because
that was one of the names that you were thinking about.
Which I was thinking
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, but it's so funny because it's gambling, but then I'm clearly talking about Minecraft, like over the top of it.
That's what I was thinking. If you wanted to do that, do like those like co-working streams or something where it's just somebody typing on mute.
I guess, and it had like 2,000 viewers, but the chat wasn't moving at all.
I have to imagine
which is just so bizarre.
It's like ad fraud.
I would guess, yeah.
Like because you would be botting so that you just cheat the ad viewership.
Yeah.
Because Kick probably doesn't have the same infrastructure to fight that
No.
Twitch does.
You got turned into the lo-fi beats girl.
I did.
Lo-fi
And then the
beats to lose
second
your
I clicked
college
on
fund.
it on stream, it like went offline. So whoever was doing it was like aware that I was live.
Oh, that's a
Holy shit.
fan.
That was-
That's really nice.
That's like the double slit experiment in quantum
Maybe they were
mechanics.
donating the money that they got from that back into my stream. That's how they pay for their subscription. That is
sweet.
really nice.
That's
Thank
like,
you.
Wow.
Bring them back.
You know what? Do that with us.
You're right.
Put us on Kick.
No.
Put this show. Let
Live. Go
put
live.
the show
Go
on
live
Kick.
right now.
Why are you clapping?
We're all clapping.
He's-
Put
it's
the
going
show
on.
on
Clapping.
clip.
This is-
We're clapping
He's
at
not
the exact same
hallucinating.
time, so it sounds like just me.
No,
He's
that's not
committing to
true.
it. Yeah.
Oh, fuck it. If you got enough trouble, would you pivot?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I can. I've thought about that. Like if Twitch went down tomorrow, like what? I'd probably YouTube. But also I wouldn't feel like
because you
happy about it.
yearn for the tube.
I do yearn for the tube.
I know you yearn for the
I
tube.
yearn for the tube. No, I think if I could press a button and be like primarily YouTuber that streams, I'd probably press that
Right,
button.
right.
I think I'd still stream like 3 days a week, but like
How long every day do you do right now?
I do it about 5 days a week. I've cut my hours down quite a bit because I've decided like I'm gonna start doing more YouTube stuff.
Yeah, and
so
we
I
talked
do
about
about
that.
5 hours a night for like 5 days a week. I used to do like
Which is a lot, by the way.
it is a lot.
Yeah.
It's
Because
changed quite a bit since
you're not
we
taking
met.
breaks.
You're not taking breaks and
No,
you're
you're not.
doing other stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like
yeah.
talking for 5 hours straight at any capacity is tough.
Thank you. Finally, someone says it.
Yeah.
Is there like a?
Thank God.
I was curious because like when we met, you were still grinding a lot. On
Yeah.
it, but like you popped off since then. Is it what?
Don't ask me how or why because I
Well,
couldn't tell you.
I'm just curious. Is it that like as you get older, it's like wow, the years are passing by even quicker, and it's just because like life is getting denser,
Yeah.
and there's so much happening, or like at least so many memories compounding in your brain that you're just like turned into soup. What the hell is going on? If you are going live that much that often, there's literally like you're pushing out like high school teachers' names and birthdays, like that's going.
Yeah. It rots your brain.
You can't. Surely there's no space in your brain really to celebrate it that much because it's always happening.
Yeah, it definitely kind of like all merges into one bit. And then the thing that I find is that I'm just talking about my life so often when I stream that like people will be like, "Oh, how are you?" And I'll be like,
Right.
I've talked about this for 5 hours every single day.
Yeah.
No, it's a lot. But then there's people, I mean, like Hassan, right, who streams for like 10 hours.
Well, he's
Yeah.
paid by
Every single
Russia.
day.
He has
Paid by Russia and
And me.
Qatar.
he has like a chronic streaming disease,
Yeah,
though.
exactly.
When he's not streaming, he's like,
He's
what do you
thinking
do?
about
What are you supposed to
streaming.
do?
He's wilting.
He just
When he
sits
gets
in his
banned-
chair to activate.
Actually, being banned is a punishment for him because it forces him to like do things other than streaming, and he doesn't
Yeah.
know how to do that.
He's like, I don't
and now
know
he,
what-
he found out he can go on YouTube.
Exactly.
And so it's like
True.
He
Which-
can ask the other parent when he doesn't get permission.
His
Yeah.
dealer went to jail and he found a new plug
You know
instantly.
what's he's so funny is I tuned into his YouTube stream and the clarity was like crystal clear because the streaming over there is like better quality. But the difference between YouTube live chat and Twitch live chat is so different, and I guess that's why he likes it better.
Well, he's also just been on Twitch for so long, and
yeah.
so. But yeah, go ahead.
I mean, you have somebody in your Twitch chat harassing you, and it's like Pussy Slayer 77, but then in YouTube chat, it's like John Michael.
It's actually
legal name.
Father
it's
of two.
Brian Tyler Cohen.
Yeah, and they have like their LinkedIn profile.
Yeah,
picture
they have
on
their
their-
ID linked.
A super low res photo of them.
Bro, I could find you.
Yeah.
With one
we could go down-
kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Fishing.
Yeah, it's you reverse image look up. It's also their LinkedIn profile.
College, always, it's mostly stuff about college,
Yeah.
and then their most recent gig, which is something to
He's
do
a
with
family
like,
YouTuber.
yeah, he's an esports guy.
The funniest thing to me, not funny, but there's a lot of people who cross stream.
Yeah.
And so I know people who will stream on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. A lot of them are in
and
like
TikTok.
and TikTok. And
That's
the
just-
TikTok
that's a
when
new
that
one.
now you're trying to do that
That's
ninja
bizarre.
shit. Remember when Ninja said he was
Yeah.
going to stream on every
he
platform?
Said, I think I'm gonna do all of them. And,
and
then
then
he's
like,
like,
he did
Everyone's
it
like,
for
yeah,
25
why?
seconds.
yeah, exactly.
This is so exciting. Why?
He's like, I don't know.
I don't know. I literally have no idea. My brother's
Ran out of blue hair
wife.
dye.
I'm so rich I could buy the bank. That is sad for the sole reason that they're usually the person isn't using one of the apps that combine chats.
Yeah.
And so they're only looking at the chat of their primary.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of
It's like the
people
neglected other
speaking to
chat.
Samwitch playing Minecraft and doing slots who are like, you're so pretty, can you do the slot I like? Why is she talking about Minecraft?
I'm
And then,
sick
but
of
they
this.
think I'm responding to them. So
Right,
I'm
and then
responding
you're
to
like,
somebody else.
dude, you got to stop with that. You just say something like that for a while, just generic applies to
And he's
everyone.
like, damn it, stupid.
She's
stupid,
talking
stupid,
to me.
Stupid.
Fuck.
I better DM directly. Hey, I'm actually a really big fan. You got me through a difficult time.
It's like I really thought that the conversation we had directly on YouTube, on TikTok Live, was very.
See,
Yeah, I
that's-
sent you a DM and it's it was actually a message in your live chat.
I'd say everything online, every pseudonym that people are using, it creates this veil between us. None of us can connect on as profound a level as we want to. Says the unwoke fool, because real dialogue, real humanity is in the unbanned request.
True.
That's where the veil
Yeah.
collapses entirely.
We should do a whole thing one time where I just bring all my unbanned requests.
I think
and
that'd
we
be
go
fun.
through
Yeah,
them.
yeah. We'll do.
They're wacky. And you know the meme of like, oh, my brother typed that. That's a real thing people say.
Right.
Or they'll say like, sorry, I was hammered. And I'll be like, what? Is that what you do when you get hammered?
Sorry,
You
the
just-
true self slipped. I was myself too much.
It's my kid brother typed that, and then it's the most sexual message you've ever seen, and it's like, no, they fucking didn't.
There's a
like,
photo
no.
of them in it.
You can't reach the keyboard. Come on.
They identify themselves.
Yeah.
So, wait, Sam, I had a question for you, and I don't remember what it was. So I'm going to sit here and think.
I want you to find it.
I'm going to find it.
You can get this. We can go backwards. Did I have to do with streaming? I did with Kick. Oh God.
Sam Hamwich. That's,
Yeah.
by the way, way too hard to say.
No, it's
I'm
awful.
so glad you're not. If you were
I'm glad
Sam
I didn't
Hamwich,
pick
we're
any of
never
the
saying
other
that out
ones.
loud.
No.
I think
Also,
we'd probably just start calling you Sandwich.
one thing that I wish that I could do, I can't for obvious reasons, and now I'm too far in, is like just my legal name. Like this is the thing. It's like YouTubers, you guys will have your actual legal names, and I always wonder if it makes it like easier or if you wish you didn't do that.
I, as a man,
Congrats, by the way.
I thought you were giving me your mic so that I
it.
could speak with the larger platform.
Please, it's like a press.
No, I think as a dude, there's certain like safety concerns that like I don't have to worry about as
Yeah.
much. And I don't think I could recommend like people using their legal names. It's more of like a comedy thing. Whereas
It's transferable.
back in the day, it's like Jacksepticeye, Markiplier. Those are
Sure.
not, their names.
Yeah.
People still call Sean Jack because they don't
Yes.
know
It
that that's
would make
just
more
his-
sense, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is
His name's
really
Matt
interesting.
Pat.
It's I think that
That one's the only one that fucking makes sense.
They
Matthew
probably
Patrick.
run into the same issue because I know when Mark made the movie, right? Like he's not gonna put like Markiplier like on the thing. I can't even remember if he did or not.
I think he did.
I think it's
there was
a Markiplier movie.
A Markiplier movie, yeah.
Which that's what I run into is like, for when me and Caroline were doing our podcast, I like did not want to be Samwitch. Just because we wanted to reach that kind of like normie audience, and then all of a sudden it's like
relate.
I think maybe by the time each of us were like doing content or like at least having to think about a brand name, I'm already on careers pages as Jordan. However, I use my middle name because that was always I'm Jordan Thomas Adika Cope.
Oh,
we did a thing though.
In retrospect, glad I'm not Jordan Cope on every. That would be very.
I always thought. Well,
that was a close one.
I always thought Jordan Cope was a cool name.
Cool name, now too easy to bully.
Too easy to bully. But I do remember in my old LA my first LA apartment when we were figuring out your branding, and we were brainstorming like what Jordan's like stage name was going to be, and
Sam Hamwich,
and which was weirdly taken, and they were live. You know, I was like, how are they still live?
Yeah.
This guy's great.
I sometimes get Twitter emails from the accounts that I
like how you
park.
said Twitter emails.
I don't.
Emails about Twitter.
Oh, I thought you meant like DMs. I was like,
Twitter emails. Oh, sorry. Now I'm 95 years old. No, I actually did mean emails from Twitter.
Oh, okay.
You know, because they send like digest emails or they send like engagement emails to try
I'm
to
not
get
on
you
that
like.
list. I don't get these. They don't.
They go to your spam. Is probably what's happening.
Probably.
But
Brokey. They don't even email you.
But like we like I think I have Jordan Thomas on Twitter.
Yeah, it's
or something like that because we were getting Jordan potential names just in case.
This
like,
is exactly how and like an ambitious young YouTuber is going to get really frustrated trying to get their actual name on a platform. Like, Jordan Thomas is not available.
I can't imagine
They haven't even posted anything in years.
He's gonna send you a DM one day, and I'm gonna reply and say, "Get good, kid."
See you on the mountain.
Be like, ooh, open that bank account.
See you in the fucking dojo, brother.
Yeah,
I know somebody that had the Twitter username Sting, like,
Oh, cool.
and then ended up just giving it to Sting.
Gave it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Sell it.
Exactly.
Did you guys know that there's on Telegram, there's a big, that's how I remember stuff. I have to tap the wood.
Right, of course.
On Telegram, there's a huge underground market for like names, but you can sell them through, like it's tracked somehow in the app. So
There's a black market for usernames.
there is a black market for usernames, but this is like a white market. Like it's just like more like you can see what the transaction of the username like through the app somehow.
Oh, interesting.
And
You get that.
I could. This is
and
how
so
I do it.
people sell them for like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
You want to
Which
be
is
Jordan
crazy.
Thomas?
What the hell?
Dude,
Give me a
I am-
sandwich.
For the right. Give me the cash.
I'm like
Your Obama account.
I'm like
Okay.
deathly afraid because I have Jarvis on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I'm like afraid that someone's gonna come after me.
And they might.
And I do sometimes
Could
get,
be anybody in this room.
Someone with access to your hardware at any point in time.
Yeah, that was just truly a miracle of both being old, being in the tech industry, and favors as well. It was just like a Infinity Stone collection quest.
You've disgraced yourself through asking for it now. I think you've burned every single favor available.
Yeah, it's like I can't disclose publicly the trials and tribulations, but it's just like I've just been on Twitter since 2009. So
the things you did.
Yeah,
there
was an episode of a podcast I listened to of this girl that she was like one of the first people that got Snapchat, and her name was like Elizabeth or Liz, and so she got the username Lizard, and then it got hacked, and they like changed her username, and basically what people were doing were like hacking those accounts with like really unique usernames and taking them and then selling them.
Yeah.
And so she had to go down the pipeline to try to figure out like how this was happening, and they were just selling them for like crazy amounts of money.
yeah,
I have a question for you.
Okay.
You crazy freak.
Crazy little weirdo.
Well, just speaking of like previous life, personal name, non-personal, whatever. You have like in fact, you're a rare cohort maybe with us of someone that like had a real job and life
I had a
prior
life. I
to
didn't
doing
come
it.
out of the womb
What is
on the internet.
Are you that public about that?
I'm pretty public about most things, to be honest with you. Which I feel like makes it so that people aren't so intrigued into like digging into stuff, because I talk about most of my
but then they
personal life.
feel like they know you even more deeply.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes they're like, no, it's like, hey, can I message you about your divorce? Because I'm also getting divorced.
Yeah,
I'll be
see,
like, no,
that,
no.
Please let me out of the unbanned requests.
and I'm like, why we're friends?
Yeah.
Why don't you respond to my text about your divorce?
Why did you ban me? I was just pointing out how close our addresses are.
Exactly.
I was like, isn't this funny?
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing with the move that's happened because I just moved, which gosh, I have to tell you those stories. People loved asking personal questions about my house, you know? You know what I mean? They'll be like, so how many square feet is it? I'll be like, hey.
What would
no.
Zillow list it as?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like it's Rainbolt in the chat.
He's like, can you send me a picture of the ceiling?
Yeah,
I just want to see.
I just want to
what it
see.
looks
Oh
like.
yes.
Send me a pic of the roof.
He just does it for the thrill.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing that you want to exist in a world where everyone's like a good actor, but like depending, like it's not something you can assume. So I've like hosted parties, for example, and when people have like taken photos where like the window is visible, it's like been like, hey, actually, can we not do that?
Because like that constellation's really recognizable.
Right. And you could triangulate, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I 100%. And I think Twitch streaming too is just always going to be like, because you're live and they're talking to you live. I mean, there's been times that I've like gone to another city to like visit friends, and I'll have like a chatter be like, hey, like I live here. Like, do you think we could meet up? And I'll be like, no, like don't do that.
Yeah.
Like,
And I get how they get to that point.
Yeah.
But there's like a little extra check that you have to go through where it's like, oh, right. Everyone feels this way about this person because I'm in a chat with 1,000 people.
Yeah, exactly.
Which you're also, I think, is a callus that you build up on the opposite end as well, because like intuitively, if it's just a very small cohort of people that watch your stuff and enjoy it, you could also fall into the chat of like, it's basically a friend.
Yeah,
like it's basically a group chat.
100%. Yeah, I think that you definitely do get to know your community a lot closer as like a streamer. It is a weird existence, and you're live for 5 hours every single day, just like direct contact with the people. You know, it's like living in your YouTube comment section for
I know,
5
and it's a
hours
thing.
straight every
It's
day.
a thing that I know I'm not cut out for. And you and I, Sam, you were like a comfort person for me at any of the streamer events.
True. No, I've talked about that on stream, where it's like if I go to an event, I'll text you and be like, are you going to be there?
Yeah.
And even if we don't hang out the whole time, it's like when you're in the room and you're like, I'm alone, I got to go touch base.
I need to go somewhere. I need to touch the wall.
Yeah,
I need to like
I'll
be
like,
comforted.
Where's Jarvis? Hey, all right.
Well, no, because like
You're the 1 in 5 that's like, tell you what, guys, I'll drive. And I'll keep an eye on you. I don't know how high the dose is.
I wanted to ask.
I'll see how you do.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask your feeling about this because we have been at a couple of events now in the new meta of Twitch IRL.
Right.
Because it's like because it's, we've been in the game for a minute now and it wasn't always like this.
No, there's been a big change.
But there's been a couple of events where, let's say you and I are eating a meal during an event.
I remember a specific instance.
I'm just, and I've described it, I think, on the show as like feeling like you're playing Metal Gear Solid and you're like avoiding the vision cones of everyone else's cameras IRL streaming.
Yeah. No, it's the IRL streaming, like going to events where, because it used to be, you go to a streamer's event, that streamer's streaming it, you're a guest, and that's the one.
And the
POV.
camera's pointed at the stage.
Yes, exactly.
It's at the event.
Or you and But now you go to an event and it's like there's 12 different streamers and they have those shotgun mics, right? So you could be like over there, but if it's pointing at you,
picking up everything.
You really, even if you're at no point on camera, you have to act like you're on camera, or you have to just be so careful, especially when people IRL with the phones, because the phones.
Yeah,
just have
now
that
everyone's
360
IRLing
mic.
with phones. Yeah. And they have omnidirectional microphones. Exactly.
I really can't if a clip got caught of me at the Streamer Awards eating, I would be permanently humiliated to the extent where I would just start wearing like a veil over my face while I ate at home by myself.
I'm a VTuber.
It's funny because like
that's a good idea. One episode of Sad Boys where we are we have
Genshin Impact characters superimposed over us.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. Worth the money and time.
I think that there's a certain degree of shame that I developed by becoming an adult before the current moment.
Yes.
That certain like IRL streamers, like maybe at an event we've been at, you've seen someone like jump over a table and do things that are like kind of rude.
Yeah.
And then maybe those people, they make you go, ooh, and you're like, oh, that's not sustainable. And then and then it's a countdown to them getting canceled, like within weeks.
And it was.
And it was.
and it was.
And
actually.
it was.
I love it here. It is my home. I do not want to leave, but every now and then when I'm forced to go to like back to the UK briefly or something, and there's just an overwhelming awareness that being even a little bit in the way means you go to hell. There is like, we were at that thing the other weekend that Anastasia brought you and me along to, which we'll grill Anastasia for whenever she's on the show next.
We'll talk about that. We went to a cool,
she let us down.
We went to an event during NBA All-Star Weekend.
Yes.
And we got to see some of our favorite basketball players, which was cool.
And while we were there, we were trying to get over to our seating area, and there was just somebody stood cracking Pokemon packs. Boy, it makes you a loser.
I was not present for this. I was saving a different spot in case, like, when you're at an event and you're trying to like get a good spot, Anastasia and Jordan went off to go find a better spot, and I was like, I'm gonna hang back.
Oh yeah. It's like when you're standing in the parking lot, parking space, just like, and
it's like you're like, okay, I hope I don't have to stand here for very long because I'm like an asshole.
We're at you're in Undead Bug. We're at a different bonfire, but we're just kind of waiting. I don't gaming. We got stuck behind someone just cracking packs with like in a hallway, like or a walking space by a balcony, literally maybe the width of this table. And we were desperately trying to get through. This guy's cracking packs. One guy's leaning over the balcony behind him to get the right angle. And we keep trying to go
forwards. Were they streaming or were they filming?
I have no idea. I guess they were filming. Yeah. And we were trying to go past them. And then one of the event organizers, or not organizers, but like somebody that worked the event in some capacity was like, you need to move. To us.
Oh.
It's a blocked thoroughfare, a movable object. We, at best case scenario, would have to go directly in front of the camera to go through. Yeah. And then this lady bumped into me. I spilled my drink lightly, hit someone else. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
You're in a sitcom now.
It is. I don't care your level of like famousness or infamy maybe, but like to me, the even mild possibility that I'm in the way while taking a photo or filming something. People that stand... If you want to take a photo in front of a monument and it's a single sidewalk or something you want to take a photo, you have to take a selfie. I'm sorry.
You're a villain immediately to everyone around you.
5 foot away, friend on the other end, and then do like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You can't do, oh, sorry. You have to wait until there is no one visible. Nobody should be allowed to even look at Abbey Road. You should have to like you have to close your eyes.
You should have to do like a running, like drive-by photo. You can't stop. Do not stop.
You have to strafe so it looks nothing like the album cover.
No, you do feel, I mean, like I've done some IRL streaming, like you feel like an asshole the whole time you're doing it. Because especially since people know that like you walk by with the phone and they're like, that guy's streaming. But the new meta, I guess, like to summarize it, I'm really excited that streaming has reached this new level, and there's like people like, Kai that are like constantly like pushing the boundaries. Like also at the same time, I bounce back and forth between like being excited for like this new stuff that's happening and also just being kind of like you're making everybody kind of look like a dickhead. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You are not immune from their radiation.
Yeah. And nobody knows if you're streaming on Kick or streaming on Twitch. Like nobody's going to look at a Kick streamer that's live streaming and be like that's a streamer. They don't care. They don't
or if you're like literally just doing prop betting or something.
It is, and this is going to make me sound old.
I feel old when I talk about it.
It reminds me of the big like vlogging era of YouTube.
It feels Vlog Squad.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, so the first like YouTube videos I made were at the tail end of the vlogging era. Yeah. And so I did some vlogging parts and videos, like some of my old videos. And
Vlogging's back.
Vlogging is, it's getting there.
It's getting there.
But now you could have a much lighter camera. I had like a Canon, like a Canon 5D or whatever on a Joby on a Joby GorillaPod, and my forearm was like gigantic because I needed to like hold up this thing, and I was doing the whole thing, and that is such an embarrassing thing to do.
Yeah. Have you seen the DJI Osmo Pocket?
Osmo Pocket. Yeah,
I have that one, and it is really nice for vlogging.
I have a Gen 1 of those.
Oh, stunning.
Which I got in Japan. I went to a YouTube. This is like back when I was relevant on YouTube, but the YouTube, I went to YouTube headquarters in Japan and gave like a talk.
Oh.
And they gifted us all like little Joby Osmo Pockets. But now if I go to an event like Pokemon Worlds or something, every single creator has one.
Yep.
And
you
they're all
feel ridiculous filming with one because of what it is, but they're so great.
They're really good. I mean, DJI, hopefully they don't sell their drone technology to war zones.
Can't imagine why they
and
would.
I can't imagine that
would be unethical.
That would be, yeah.
I do think there's probably something that, like, I feel like you could compare the relationship with IRL streaming a little bit, like how like smoking cigarettes was in the early 2000s, where you could smoke anywhere, so you were just kind of smoking.
Yeah.
That was like they were at home all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, well, every minute of my day I might as well stream because all of it's here.
Yeah, exactly.
And then all of a sudden, like, you couldn't smoke anywhere all the time.
I think they're going to start doing that. I think people are going to...
Those little cameras are a vape.
Yeah.
Now we can just do it literally all the time.
Yeah,
But
no,
nothing
it's
can
so
stop me.
true. No, it's so true.
I remember...
And it's good for me.
It's interesting how that hasn't happened sooner. I imagine in Miami, there's got to be a lot of that, like, because Miami is one of those hotbeds for kick streamers specifically. It's like clavicular core.
Who I just learned, by the way, is a person and not just like a term. Like I saw a picture of him yesterday.
He has a horrible name.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like...
It sounds like I need a cream for it. It sounds like...
It sounds like something you say after you land a cool skateboarding trick.
Clavicular. It's like Tony Hawk, the jumping text on screen.
Sloppy.
350 points.
Kill-tacular.
While Jacob was setting up, I was watching Hassan watch clips from Clavicular stream.
I love the Hassan like rabbit hole where it's Hassan watching a clip of somebody watching a clip of somebody.
Yeah, you haven't lived until you've gotten Hassan watching your video.
Yeah, it's like, have you been in the Hassan Human Centipede? No.
Yeah,
right.
that is the
Hassan is the blue light blocker of YouTube. He's like wearing a layer in between you and the content.
I need someone to hold my hand while watching, but it was Clavicular, like quote unquote. All of this is fake anime, everything staged type shit.
All nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it was like Clavicular stealing a guy's girl on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And then he's like alone with this girl, and the first thing out of his mouth is, "Do you think Jeffrey Epstein mogs?"
Jesus.
Cool.
And then she's like, "What?"
Not now. I don't think he does anything now.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen like a clip of him. I just saw a picture of him. I've seen.
Oh, you sweet summer child.
I've been
really
moving
like him.
luckily, so like I've missed so much.
And that's what I do want to talk about that, and not about Clavicular. I think it's safer that way.
That's fine.
So two
You're
things. One, I just wanted to say, we've known each other for how long now?
a really long time. I think so. The first time I met you was I didn't even live in LA.
I remember
yet.
that.
I was in Arizona.
You were in Arizona.
Yeah.
You had blondish, like you had like blonde streak or whatever.
Pre-lip filler.
Pre-lip filler. You were just out.
It was a sweet summer
it was
time.
an after.
Grounded,
Yeah.
salt of the earth.
It was an after party for Ludwig's
No, the first time was at Mogul Money.
Mogul Money.
Because I went in and I didn't really know anybody, and I saw Stans and Rochelle.
Yes.
And I was like, "Can I sit with you guys?" And they
Yes.
were like, "Okay." And then you sat with us, and I was like, "Okay, this guy's my comfort person for the next 6 years."
Yeah. There we go.
You watched that?
Another
Well,
funny
you
thing
were
about
on.
that event, because it then ties into a story that I think I've told before, but XQC was there, and
Oh, we're gonna talk about the pizza.
yes.
Yeah, that's a good one. This
So
is a good
XQC ordered like 100 pizzas.
Yes.
And so everyone left with like 3 pizzas. Like, and it was like a problem. Like, because why did you order this much pizza? He ordered like 3 pizzas per person.
The funny part about that story is that he showed up to, because you were hosting a party. He showed up to.
That's the part 2.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, because that you need that context for New Year's 2022, maybe.
Yeah.
Are we going into 23? Yeah. 'cause I
Yeah,
was there,
2022.
Yeah.
And then Hassan was coming to the party, and he was like, "Can I bring some people?" And Hassan does this thing that I think is I think it's the most like wholesome part of his personality, is that when he tries to like be a positive influence on people like Aiden Ross, and it's like, and then he fails, and he's like, "Damn!" And then they just like farm him for like hate clicks for the rest of his life. But he was like trying to kind of like put an arm around XQC and be like, it doesn't have to be this way. He was like, "Can I bring
Your
some
front door
people?"
opens and you can go out of it.
He was like, "Can I bring some people?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then like XQC shows up, and
Hey, what's going on, dude?
hey, dude.
Hey, for pizza.
And so then he came over to me and he was like, "Hey, dude, can I order some pizzas?" And I was like, "For sure." Someone's like, "Hey, I'm pretty hungry. Do you want to order something?" And I was like, "I have great news.
There's most reliable guy.
There's actually pizzas on the way."
XQC, who has good opinions about
And I was like, and I haven't heard him say any opinions. It was before the Trump thing that he did. It was before any of that stuff. He was just kind of like a degen Overwatch guy. I asked him, how many pizzas did he order?
He said all of them.
And he said that he got 2 pizzas. And there were like 70-ish people at this party.
Yeah.
And
it's like a pepperoni slice per.
And so he was like, last time I got the pizzas, I got 60 pizzas and everybody's mad about the pizzas.
He's calibrating.
And now I get 2 pizzas.
Next time,
and they're mad
30.
about not too many pizzas.
But then they delivered them, I think, to the...
Yeah, they didn't. Those pizzas never showed up.
No. I just... Because that's the thing is I remember, like, we're all having a good time, like, party. Everybody's, like, socializing. Things are great. And XQC is pacing around the house concerned about the pizzas. Yeah, and then they got delivered and then he, like, went to get them, came in, ate the pizzas, and then left.
When did you move?
It was end of 2022, fall of 2022. Yeah.
The fall of 2022.
The fall
I
of
remember.
2022.
You'll fall off.
Okay, so the 2 things I wanted to say, because I want to get to your moving story, but the thing I want to say before that is I'm very proud of you.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I'm because I remember you moving here, you were like doing the thing. I remember, like going to your old place and like going on a little hike.
Uh-huh.
And
I
I'm
still
just
have that cute photo of, I think, the dogs in the back seat, like cuddling, which was like
very cute.
Oki was not a cuddler, and so that was such a cute.
That's
Berries in the background outside of the car window.
I'm very proud of you. Also, like the last YouTube video, main channel YouTube video I worked on, you were like helping me with that.
I talk about that all the time because it was the Metaverse one.
Yeah.
And that was so funny because I had never had motion sickness in my life. And when I remember, one of my warmest memories with you, even though it was like a crazy time, is you and I going back and forth in the Metaverse thing. And we were both getting so motion sick that we had to DoorDash Dramamine.
Oh my God. So yes.
So like how they have to hire twins to play kids on sitcoms so they can swap them
we like
out.
had to do a reverse parent trap.
Lohan.
So that was the Metaverse video. For a lot of the parts in the Metaverse, I just like couldn't keep the thing on. And so it's a little breaking the fourth wall, but like I had Sam do it.
Yeah.
And then while I was like
a foot lower.
because like we were just like both having to trade off getting like very motion sick.
Dude, we were sitting at your house.
Upstairs at the table, yeah.
We were sitting at your house and we were like at the dining room table and we just were like literally like, I'm like this. I just took a bunch of Dramamine, like you're in the Metaverse. This is crazy sentences.
Right.
And I'm just like recovering. I'm trying to like charge my ult and then you come out. And
I have no peripheral vision. I don't know that Sam is struggling.
You run to the phone in the Matrix inside and get like
Yeah, it's like PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
And then he hands it to me and I'm like, okay.
All right, we're going back in. In many ways, that is the closest. That's the closest I was to knowing what it felt for Neo to enter and leave the Matrix.
Yep. That's the YouTube production version of that clip that weird misogynistic guys always post, where it's like, let's see a woman do this, and it's them in like the clay dirt factory pulling the big thing and then rotating it, and the dirt's flying around, bunch of sparks.
So funny.
The other fun thing is I don't know how many thumbnails it is at this point, but whenever there's like, I don't like to put like if there's a trend that I'm talking about, like for example, the subreddit where people were rating people's appearance and stuff, which, hey, that came back into the foreground.
People being normal.
But I didn't want to put like a real photo of a woman that was asking for ratings.
Right.
Because that's, I don't know, it felt bad.
Random.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like the context is these women
they're not the person they're not the person who did anything wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And so then it's like, you'll notice in thumbnails, I like use photos of Sam, and I got a long time ago, you sent me a bunch of photos. You were like, you have permission to use these, and I was like, okay.
It was so funny because it was like you were comfortable enough with me where you were like, hey, I need a photo of a random girl for a thumbnail, and I don't know who to use.
Yeah.
Do you know any crackers?
I was like,
And
well,
you were like,
boy,
you're like, say less. I'm gonna give the pre-evolution of Samwitch. This is like the Charmeleon sandwich.
exactly. Yeah, it's like I sent you my portfolio. It's like here I look
Yeah,
super
yeah.
white. Like here I look like trad white.
Yeah, it's like,
Here's
show me
me
the
as a
photos where you
cop.
look the whitest.
exactly.
Me, this one's I'm a Native American. Don't use that one.
It's like tattoos, yes, no. Lip filler, yes, no. Yep.
Okay, so with all that being said, do you have the original thing I sent? Because you posted something on your close friend story, and I sent it to Jacob, and I said, if Sam isn't comfortable with this, we won't talk about
I showed
it.
it on my stream. You're totally
Right,
fine.
right. But I literally was like, oh yeah, here it is.
Yeah.
Shall I do your voice? I could read it and do your voice.
Which it's can you please?
Well,
Well, let me tell you a little story.
I recently hired the moving service, where I walked in on the guy wearing a wig. Wearing a wig of mine that was in a box, question mark, and blasted, what?
Plandemic
Oh,
propaganda music.
and these blasted pandemic.
He was blasted.
And blasted plandemic propaganda music. The company gave me my money back. I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing. It was so stupid.
What track did you have in the background for that?
Oh, you gotta. Is there? Oh, you
I
don't
didn't
have the sound.
I didn't take a video.
Oh, let me show you. So
Oh, is this the plandemic song?
I'm pretty sure it's AI. Okay, so I'm gonna play it here. If you wanna like Shazam it or whatever.
Yeah,
Are we still
yeah.
doing that? Are we Shazam?
Wait, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, but
This is your stand-up, sir?
Yeah.
We're still doing this, huh?
People still talking about that. So
That's awesome.
let's just back up.
Yeah,
to
let's
the whole
back
day.
up. You're probably wondering how I got into this situation.
You're probably wondering how I got here. So this is hands down like the worst moving experience I have ever had throughout the whole thing. But I think that the worst part was the movers, and because they gave me my money back, I'm not going to blast the name of them. But so I'm moving by myself. I'm hiring movers for the first time ever. I've never hired movers, and I was like, this is going to be really nice.
Which in general, it's like if you're moving by yourself as an adult, it's like it's one of those things where, hey, I've got a little extra cash and I cannot abuse my friend's labor right now.
Right.
You know, it's like they're busy.
And I have like a standing desk, and I was like, I don't know what's going to happen with this thing if I try to put it in a U-Haul.
If you've moved enough times and over large distances, you are disabused of the cutesy. I love packing. It's fun.
No,
It's like if you
I
fly all the
myself.
time and you're like,
You're packing for a trip is fun. Like, no, it's fun the first 8 long times.
Also, like my new place has like stairs, and I was like, I'm not gonna carry.
Oh my-
And also,
oh
like
my
I do have a
God.
lot of friends that would be willing to help, but
Absolutely.
there's something about asking.
They're
It was like
weak.
nobody wants to fucking move.
They're strangers. They're weak. They're pathetic.
It's like taking someone to the airport. It's like, yes, it's an act of love, but do I always want to ask for
Yes,
it?
exactly. So I ended up hiring movers. So the movers show up, and it's these two like Russian guys. It's like a middle-aged guy, and then
I am here to do the pandemic.
well, he shows up and he goes, "Are you Russian?" And I go, "No." And he goes, "You look Russian." I go,
Thanks.
"Thanks." I'm wearing Adidas.
Oh, you're wearing a tracksuit. Yes.
Which I was like,
you're wearing a tracksuit, smoking a cigarette.
Here's what I was wearing.
Doing
which is like,
parkour.
I can see why you thought this, but I was like, you're kind of stereotyping me. Like I had a red hoodie and Adidas like
Badass.
with the lines
Right,
on the
right.
side. And I was like, come on, man. He goes, do you speak Russian? I go, no.
Are you
question?
Russian? You look Russian. Do you speak
Yeah,
Russian?
exactly. He's like,
Do you have any-
Do you wear Russian? Will
Do
you
you,
be Russian?
Polska? Do you? Are you some sort of other European?
It's like, which one are you?
Which one are you? Tell me.
Yeah.
Really from?
He thinks you're a sleeper agent.
Exactly. He's like, ooh.
7, 19, 821.
I also had well, they spoke Russian, but they were from Belarus, I think. These guys, first of all, one of the dudes was like, "Are you a streamer?" And I was like, "No, YouTube or whatever." He's like, "I love Twitch."
Oh.
And I was like,
People
"Oh,
never
cool."
know.
And then
I
he
don't like YouTube stream.
and then
The
he was
dashboard
like,
limited.
They don't talk back.
He
was a-
TV.
he was super cool, and I still have him in my phone because whenever he's like, if you ever need job done, just call. And I was like, I need some help mounting this TV, and he was like, say less.
Bit.
He was like a bit actually.
Twin.
So yeah, these guys show up and they're like asking, which is like not so creepy, but it's kind of like we don't really need to start on that foot. And so they start moving my stuff, and I'm kind of an anxious person, and so I feel uncomfortable. I'm paying these guys to move my boxes, but I'm like, are they mad at me because I'm not helping? Like, I don't. So
That's very real.
yeah, you're just like
I was gonna say that's very Russian. Very Russian of you.
Are you sure you're not Russian? Yeah.
Paranoid, huh?
I don't want to help.
Those are the two types. There's paranoid Russian and Russian that dies from parkour.
And we'll see.
There's also Russian that starts cryptocurrency.
Yeah, the third. the
Becomes
secret.
billionaire.
A secret third option.
There's Russian that is
Streamer.
oligarch oil baron.
So I'm sitting in the yard and I'm just kind of like letting these guys do their thing. And then at some point I'm like, maybe I just go see like how much they have done. And I walk into the shed and I walk in and this guy is like pulling a wig off of his head.
Like he was caught. Like you walked into your
Yes.
teenage son masturbating.
Yes. He's like, I promise it wasn't this. It
No,
was
I was just.
It was anime.
It was a pop up.
So he's got his phone, and so like I immediately recognize what's happening because it's like I look at him, I look at the phone, I look down at the box. It's like the box where
He's
my like
recording a TikTok of Hannah Montana,
Yeah,
and he's like, she's got the best of both
Yeah,
worlds.
exactly.
Oh, he was doing an anime.
Yeah. I want to be Tracer ass.
Oh, dude.
And so I guess maybe it's like because I'm a woman and I don't want to like embarrass him because then of course he's gonna murder me on the spot. I kind of do one of these like what the hell?
I have to say,
Where's my wig? Where's that wig?
I have to say, it is intimidating, even if like just in general to have like hiring movers is scary because you're usually alone.
Yeah.
And you've hired a team of burly men to like
To know where you live.
To know where you live.
No
and then
matter
to
what,
move your
you've
stuff.
hired people stronger than you.
Exactly. Well, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I just want them to carry it.
More Russian
I want them
than
to
me.
struggle.
Yeah. I like to watch them move around like my peons.
I'm like, good luck.
Your aunt to me, I'm czar.
So I see this and I'm immediately like, okay, so this guy took a wig out of my like costume box and was like taking a photo in it, which is immediately weird, but like they already have half of my boxes packed. So I'm like,
Had you packed the costume?
So they can have it as a
boxes,
treat.
yeah. I'm like, you take that one. That one's on the house. No, it was like in a bag that was like kind of sticking out of a box.
Oh.
So it was like he could have, so it was already
I thought it was
halfway
weird.
up. Yeah. So it was like he probably saw the hairs and was like,
Yeah, his impulsive thoughts
That's
like
mine now.
one.
he's out of the boxes for me.
I can look like a Scarlett Johansson.
It is like when fries fall into bag. Fair game.
It's 5 second rule, but
5 second rule. I am allowed to eat.
you and in the country, you have 5 guys. They put too many of the fries in the guy box.
And for some reason, there are peanuts all over the floor.
For 5 guys, so they just
God,
start
one for
on the
bed.
floor.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they pour it into the bag and then kind of loosely
They
throw
just
it
do
in.
a
It's a they have a Mark Rober style glitter bomb attached to the attached to all the bags of peanuts, and they just explode.
it's like no elephant. I don't understand.
Gotcha.
And so I'm
Does he look
obviously like
embarrassed?
uncomfortable. But they already have like the boxes loaded and stuff.
Sorry,
and so
I have to ask, is there any universe where the what's that on the ceiling
Where he
worked?
brought it
Do you
himself?
think he believed it?
no.
At all.
I think he like immediately got uncomfortable and I got uncomfortable and the young kid that was with him got uncomfortable.
He
and
saw
so
it too?
Yeah.
Well, for some reason I was
here's
picturing
why
outside.
I think that I caught him because the young kid asked me if I could come do a check, you know, to like see if they
Right.
had gotten everything. And so he heard the
This is
kid
your house?
walking. He like identified the footsteps and then
Oh.
thought it was him and it was me.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So
Oh, he was gonna be like, look, I'm your mother.
he's like,
Yeah, wait. So there's a young kid there. Is it like
yeah,
a
so
son?
it's like a guy, and like I feel like it might be his son.
That's
and
cute.
they're arguing in Russian, like in
Awesome.
the yard, kind of
Oh,
the whole
no.
time. It sounds
You sure
like
they
he
were just
was
talking?
well, maybe that's the thing. It sounded like he was like lecturing him the whole time. It was just like weird. But then, so this is uncomfortable. I'm like, okay, let's get the fucking boxes in the car. Let's go. And this guy has a speaker with him the whole time that I kind of expected he was going to play music, but he doesn't play music the whole time, except the very end when they were putting the last boxes in the truck. He puts the speaker like in the middle of the street, turns it on, and plays the Plandemic AI anti-COVID soundtrack. Just one of the songs. It wasn't multiple songs. It was just one. Like that was his like.
I like the idea
outro.
that he's like he's like NoFap, but for music.
He's like edging his day.
Yeah, he's like, all right, one
It's
song.
like, I can't wait till the end when I can
I can't
listen
wait
to
till I
them.
get one song.
Freeing
Yep.
myself.
Yeah, no, I think it was his like closing time.
Yeah.
It was his outro to the neighborhood.
Wuhan planned it.
Yeah. No, you should look up the song. It's crazy. Like there's a whole song, but
I guess that's probably a cottage industry I'm not familiar with, but there's got to be a big appeal.
yeah, there's got to. I mean, it's like they should have had that guy at the like turning point.
My truck.
Oh my
and
god, it
these-
would have been so much better than Kid Rock.
Yeah.
I just want to wear my boots and I don't like the
I wanna
Chinese.
kiss my fish.
Do you think the Koreans help them that kind of Chinese do?
So we go to the next place, and then the moving in the next place was like fine. Like I was just like uncomfortable and stuff, and then it comes time to pay. And so he comes over with the contract. I'm standing in like the middle of the street, just sad at this point. I'm just like sad. There's a guy weed whacking nearby, and I like scoot over.
In the shed with a wig on?
Everyone's
Who
wearing.
up whacking their
Working
weed?
their weed.
I like move over a little bit so that I don't like I'm not in the way of this guy weed whacking, and I move over. The guy's coming over with the contract. A fucking dink, like while I'm standing in the
No.
street. 100%. I signed the contract, and then right after, I'm sad. It's expensive. I'm like, and my old landlord calls me and he says, hey, it's raining at the old place and there's still some stuff outside that got left behind. And I'm like, this is the
Left
worst
behind?
day ever. Yeah. And so I was like, well, can you just put it in the house? Like, I'll come back and get it. And so then I'm debating, do I complain about these guys? Because they know where I live. Like, what if it gets them fired? And then who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always such a tricky situation because it's
Yeah.
like, I don't want, it's like, hey, I had a bad experience, but I'm sure that, like, I don't want these people to be in trouble. I just want, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, can you just give me my money back, but like not tell them, but maybe just like tell them I was disappointed. Like,
Yeah.
not mad.
But not a better music choice.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm kind of ruminating on it, and I'm like talking to Caroline about it, and Caroline said, do you want me to call him? I'm like, that doesn't really help. It's the same thing.
She's so good though,
yeah,
Caroline.
she's
It's
the
like
best.
such a like, I will protect
Yeah,
you.
she's like, no, let me do it.
I will fight them with my
Mama's
fists.
got it.
Yeah.
I'll
No,
fight the
she is a
Russians.
very mama's
Yeah,
got it
yeah.
person.
Where are these damn Ruskies?
Rolls up her sleeves.
And so I'm deliberating, and I'm like, fuck, maybe I just let it go, like whatever. And then I wake up the next morning. I get a text, and I wake up, and it says, hey, moving service, are you satisfied with your service? And I go, oh, mama's not satisfied.
Yeah.
Boom. And I text him, and I'm like, I have some complaints. I would like to talk to somebody. And they called me, and like the guy that called was like, you know, he was like, I'm sorry that happened, like whatever. And so they did give me like most of my money back, which I was stoked about.
Did you report? There were details when you did your satisfaction? Did you include wig element?
Yes.
Respect.
Which I was like, the guy probably has a really nice picture on his phone. He's got a new Hinge profile photo.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like,
it wasn't
it
a wig,
is-
it was just cringe, and that was a concern for
I'm
me.
not mad because he wore my wig. It just looked bad.
Yeah. You should have picked a better wig. Yeah.
He didn't pick the purple one, which
Yeah.
is concerning to me.
He thought he was snatched.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
And he was not.
And he was actually busted.
He
dude.
was best chopped even.
Chopped.
Yeah, I don't like my movies. They weren't hot.
They were unk.
Yeah. That's upset. 2 stars, chopped and unk.
60-year-old secretarial worker reading this report. Like, what the fuck?
He's like, I don't know
Is this a
if
5-star?
What happened here? So then I move into this new place, and immediately shower doesn't drain, heating doesn't work. I'm standing in the bathroom just like sad because I'm like, this has been the worst move ever. I'm like,
This montage of you stood with your head down in different locations is so funny.
Visualize, like I'm standing in the bathroom, like looking at myself in the mirror, just having like a, what is this? Like, did I fuck up? And I hear in the bedroom, chirp,
Oh my
and the fire alarms
Oh, hilarious.
were running out of battery.
Oh my god. You go Siri play Plandemic song.
I'm like, you know what? Maybe it was.
That really is the getting up after slipping on a banana peel and then a bird poop on the head.
Yeah, it was like sitcom moment. And then it started flooding because we've had some crazy rain.
Yeah, we have.
And so the lobby of the apartment was filling up with water, and I had all these Amazon packages being delivered because I was ordered like new stuff. And so I'm having to like carry on. It was actually like insane. Like it was like the worst.
It was like the start of the third act of Parasite.
Yeah. I'm like,
Trying to pick up family heirlooms.
Tunnel in the basement now. Luckily though, I don't have any beef with my neighbors, which I was worried about because I was like my stream like kind of late, so I was like afraid that I was gonna make beef with my neighbors. Neighbors don't hate me. Everything's good so far. Shower works again. Heating is still busted, but we'll fix that.
Has the wall audio?
There's multiple of them. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
I have
Respect.
walls,
Incredible,
roof
yeah.
even.
I mean, that's considering how well it was going. I thought maybe you'd be missing at least the ceiling.
Walls fall down like a set.
But can you hear neighbors? / they hear you?
Yeah, but you know what's crazy is like I can hear neighbors and it is fairly noisy and I'm okay with it because then it's like everything's fair game. Like I can't be the annoying one if there was literally like a family going the other night at like 11, like they were on a roller coaster, like in their
They were
own
doing
house.
the wave.
One of them goes, doo, and I was like, keep doing that. Do that.
Acapella family.
We had a similar experience. The house that myself and my roommates are moving into, because the house that we're moving out of, whenever we have like people over for like a birthday or like a holiday or whatever, like we get a lot of just complaints about noise from our neighbors because they're very
like, you're breathing
quiet.
so don't do that.
Yeah,
You're not
even if
sharing
it's just
walls.
like
It's
chatting in the backyard at like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
They'll complain, and several times they've like filed noise complaints against us.
Yeah.
And so finally, like I was moving stuff into our new place, and our next door neighbor was like playing loud music in his backyard. I was like, thank God.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's how I felt it. I moved in. The guy that lives downstairs is like super old. I was like, he can't hear. The neighbors were like blasting Spanish music. I was like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like this is good. I was like, I'm home. But yeah,
This is like Russia all over again.
Yes, exactly. The Russian guys are standing out in the street going like this.
Yeah.
I want to borrow a wig.
Yeah, I
That
remember.
reminds me,
I want to do TikTok trend.
one of my least favorite things about when I lived in San Francisco is I lived next to a busy intersection. And so I would constantly have to stop filming
And above a restaurant.
I would have to stop filming because of like cars honking, sometimes car accidents, like the amount of random stuff, it just like took me out of like my flow.
Yeah.
And
Mine was like that with planes, which was weird because I wasn't necessarily next to an airport.
they would
but-
just be
Yeah.
keeping track of when
I'd
you
be
were
like-
filming.
There was probably 10 times over the course of living where I used to live where a helicopter would be very low circling my neighborhood, like clearly looking like I
Right.
was the neighborhood people went to apparently when
That's
they were
so
on the
funny.
run.
I do like the idea sometimes, and don't do this. And it's only funny in my mind. Is if like a helicopter circling, and then you just sprint out of your house.
Like,
Nerf gun.
yeah, exactly. You know what's stupid about moving? How expensive boxes are to get.
Crazy.
Oh my God.
The price of boxes is nuts.
This isn't as useful for moving because you typically need larger boxes. But do you want to know a fun life hack?
That you can get them for free.
Those USPS boxes, you can get those for free.
What?
Yeah.
Costco used to hand out boxes like nobody's business, but the last couple times I've gone to Costco membership, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Single 31.
Hey, well,
like
this is like she knows her lines. This is. I feel like normally I'm the one
6'4"
hitting
jacked.
the like 6'1", by the way. Height.
Who knows? Different every day.
Race.
Russian.
Why'd you do that?
I remember when you used to go to Costco, they used to put all your groceries in boxes. They don't do that anymore. At least they didn't do it the last time I went.
Sign of the times.
Yeah.
Niche stand-up.
Chicken bakes though.
Chicken bakes. Jordan doesn't like them, I think.
Nope.
I'm holding them to a Greg's style standard. And
That's funny now that I've had
and
Greg's.
they're not very good
What's a
at
Greg?
Greg's.
Right.
But they are, it's kind of like McDonald's chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
If you went to like Nando's, like there's better chicken.
Yeah,
but like
dude, Nando's is really good.
There's just no nostalgia for me personally.
No, that's very real. I have the opposite. The one thing though that they do have that a lot of like equivalent places in America don't have, like for example, your like coffee bean and tea leaves like don't usually. Well, maybe they do, but real croissants. Like the croissants at Greg's are like really
Croissant?
good.
You can't get away from a
Croissant.
croissant in any bakery or coffee place. It's messed up. It's like a really bad piece of food, but it's mine.
It's a really bad piece of food.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Wait till you try a frozen chicken pie, personal size.
You
Sometimes
eat it frozen?
You eat it frozen, it warms up in your belly.
Yeah, they do that.
They defrost over a couple of
Frozen chicken pie is like a disgusting combination of words.
I know, it's tough, right?
Yeah.
You get it at the chip shop where they slightly undercooked it. You get sick a lot. You're like, why?
Chip shops is another thing that like my friends in Australia also talk about, that we don't have that.
They're weird. They have
And
other
I was like,
weird
what
stuff.
is at a chip shop? And they were like, chips. I was like, what else? And they're like,
Cool thing about Australian chip shops is because of where they are, they have dim sum. They have dimmies.
oh, yes.
They have a little dumpling, little dimmies.
Yes.
I
You would
love.
never allow that.
I had Nando's for the first time, and I was floored at how good the chicken was.
Cheeky.
Just because I was expecting it to be like more fast foody, but I think it's more just like fast casual.
It's cheekier
Fast
than that.
casual.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I want to talk about the America's Next Top Model
we
stuff.
must. Oh
but
my
then
gosh.
You're up, I think.
I think first we'll do Punch the Baby Monkey.
It's a game.
Bring out the baby monkey.
It's on the street. There's candy in it.
I'm like, that is.
Do you guys want to see something that's going to make you cry?
I need
Always.
this.
This is
I've had a hard week. I need this.
This is Punch, the 6-month-old macaque monkey at the Ichikawa City Zoo in Japan.
Oh, he's hitting the Bigfoot.
He looks so upset.
He looks like a recently when a little kid runs away from home with a little stick with a sack on the end of it.
This is how I got dragged to timeout.
His mother abandoned him, and then he was put in an enclosure with other monkeys, and he was not accepted.
No, why?
So he carries around this like plush orangutan to keep him orangutan. Is it? Does it
don't
end
know.
I think it's orangutan.
Orangutan,
technically,
right?
But people do
Orangutan.
say orangutan.
I like the G at the end.
I don't like. I was like, the first time I said it, I was like, that's how the word is. But then I was like, why does that sound wrong? But anyway, he carries around. You want to see him? Yeah. He carries around this plush orangutan to keep him company.
It's so sad and cute.
Oh, he's doing such a bad job.
Yes. I know that thing's
What
just
an
face
idiot.
down,
What a
ass up.
stupid
Oh, he's
monkey.
leaving him.
Okay, so I have a few videos.
How did he end up in an obstacle course?
The emotional moments when Punch, the monkey who went viral with the toy he never lets go of, tries to make peace with other monkeys.
Oh, not this music with it.
Fake friends. Never stays with your day one.
No! Stop! They hate him!
No.
And he's like, fine, I'll just go back to my orangutan.
This is how anime villains are. This is how they originate.
This is IRL footage of me discovering I'm not socially well adjusted, that I have no real emotion. It's everyone else in the room going, no! You're like, fucking idiot.
This is my
Monk.
internal like imagination when I feel like my friends don't like me.
this is
double
what
hump
we're
show.
doing.
To be fair, he abandoned his day one.
Yeah,
He
that's
tried
true.
to level up, tried to friend Mog, if you will, friend Max.
Yeah. He
And
tried
he,
to friend Max.
He was correctly. And you know what this is?
and now
This
he's
is
plush
a
maxing.
Yeah, and
this is a Darman moral story. That plushie, he's like, this plushie's homeless. I don't want to be
Yeah.
friends with this one. And then he finds out he's like a CEO of a bank or something.
Right, exactly. And they're treating him poorly.
Like, we don't speak the language. Like, maybe he's like going up and being like, did you see the conviction?
He might be the so where's the party at tonight? Where's everybody going after this?
he's 6 months old. He doesn't party yet.
Well,
That's it.
6
7th
months,
month
it
thing.
scales. Hey, where's everybody going at?
Hey, what's up? You guys got any weed?
Yeah. God, I really love that weed that we smoked that one time that I got invited to.
Oh my God.
I haven't actually seen this one.
Oh, he's
Dude.
going in?
He's climbing into a concrete square, which they have,
Oh,
I guess.
he's in.
Dude, this is me in Minecraft when it turns nighttime.
Hey, dude, that looks
Coming out
really.
in 6 more weeks of winter.
See, again, the baby's very cute. He's a moron. Like, he's trying to get the monkey
Yeah.
into that. I mean,
No, and it doesn't fit.
use your brain.
Yeah. Can we all get big squares? He thinks he's going to launch out. It's a cannon.
Shoots him to the top of Bob-Omb Island so he can fight Bowser.
Oh,
That's
look
a
at him.
really sad. Is it?
Yeah, that's the motion. Yeah.
Are you trying
Big ol' SID.
I'm sad. Right?
to? And finally,
You think he bought it with money?
Hmm.
Bananas.
I think he worked his way up from a paperclip.
I'm here to prove that I can trade my way all the way up to a Maserati.
Yeah.
And then he gets stuck in a zoo.
Never know
dies.
what's coming next.
I have good news.
We need this.
He has found an adult monkey to help him groom for lice. And so this is adorable.
Oh, look at that.
What are they? Okay, so everyone's excited? People like this?
People love this. The internet's going crazy for it. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm seeing someone is missing. Someone has been
wait,
left
true.
in the
Well,
dirt.
They're in between the two. They're hugging them together.
Oh, it
they're
came
hugging
to
him
life.
Like a sandwich.
He came to life.
It's like Calvin and Hobbes. This is what
wait a
he
second.
sees.
Yeah, this is what he sees.
Exactly. Oh, he's trying to escape.
He's so bad at it.
They're hanging out with him though, and they're not pushing him away, which is, I think this is good. I think this is good.
They're trying. They're
He's
like,
got company.
They think he's weird, but they're happy to.
They're kind of like his followers a little bit.
Yeah, this is
They're intrigued by him.
this is me dual screening Balatro while also running through Sopranos yet again.
Yeah.
I'm the corpse.
I was gonna say,
toy.
this is me like in the same room with one of my friends, like both on our computers non-verbally.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is parallel play.
Yeah, they're like, okay, we're letting him cook. Even
Yeah,
though he's
cooking
cooking nothing.
He's like,
though
no,
he's
there's
cooking
something behind here. I
nothing.
promise.
Is it?
He's like, no, we're trapped.
We're trapped.
They're like, yo.
He's like,
The toy's alive.
all right, dude.
Okay.
Bugs are under my skin. We just have to get out of here. Like we gotta
he's like, wake up, wake up, my fellow monkeys.
Ooh,
We are being held captive here.
Oh, don't touch. What's he?
Oh, he's got friends.
Yeah, one of them said leaving. This is
No, I
much-
do like the Calvin and Hobbes theory that he can see the plush, and the plush is like, get out, get out.
But it's whenever you
Nightmare.
whenever you see Calvin's parents' perspective, the Hobbes is in a Family Guy death pose like that. Maybe it died. That's what.
right.
There's a funeral.
Notice how they fuck with him after he got clout.
Yeah, that's true. It's only because he's famous.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, now you want to hang. Now you want to follow me. Now you want to let me cook.
You don't think
Hey,
the
man.
toys?
Can,
What was it?
Can you
For a
tag me
loser?
in this post? Actually, no.
And
The
now you
plush
are.
was always cool. We always thought it was cool.
You look good, man.
Yeah, we
not weird.
we were into it the whole time.
No.
You can
He's
hang.
alive.
You can sit with us.
This, your friend's alive.
Yeah.
And look, he gave up real quick.
And you're welcome. Now your entire feed is going to be punch the baby monkey.
Yeah, you said it too many times.
So that's a story with a happy ending.
Thank God.
Then we only have those.
So far.
Well, so far, yeah, he could get rejected again.
Yeah.
He could escape.
I'll
You
be
get a new
following. I'll be
plush.
following closely.
my
I'm
God.
sure they have like a punch cam.
Yeah.
What if a tourist falls in there? They have to snipe
Get me
him.
out! Oh my god,
They shoot
dude!
him.
How dare you? You know I'm distantly related to Harambe.
Oh, I shouldn't have brought that up. I bet. Oh my god, almost 10 years.
They're gonna 100% start selling those plushes.
Oh my
100%.
god!
And if they don't, I think that they should, but I don't want them to. But
They should sell the monkey.
yeah,
They should, but I don't want them.
but I want one.
But I won't.
buy it.
I'm sure you can find the original
Yeah,
brand.
exactly. No, the original one will sell for 200 million.
Yeah. But check the parlay on will baby monkey be eaten by condor?
Now that we've looked at a happy story, let's talk about something that's not very happy, which is the new America's
Oh my
the new
gosh.
America's Next Top Model
Did you guys
documentary.
watch America's Next Top Model when it was on?
I was in and out
Okay.
because it was on UPN, which is a now defunct network.
Yeah, I
It
didn't-
became the CW.
Yeah, I never had heard of that. I watched it on Hulu like years ago. Like it was a
Oh.
while ago, but it was not when it was on.
Right.
When
That's
Hulu was,
interesting.
Yeah, I was too
kind of a
busy running around in the
substitution.
woods with no shoes on. I think when it was like on.
You were
on.
touching grass.
Yeah, I was doing that.
You got enough of that, and now you're moving
now
on to
I
the
moved
online.
on to toxic
Running
reality
around
TV.
doing that and cutting hair.
Yes.
While running around.
Side questing. No, but yeah. So did you guys both watch it?
I watched it.
Yeah.
I watched some. There was like maybe
So
on
I was
E4.
busy that day, and there was a asteroid.
Yeah, it was some. There's some of one. I'm sure one of the British terrestrial channels, which are usually populated by like one American TV show and then 4 hours of a show called like Nicest Walk in the Southern England region or something.
Yes.
Which
Now
my
what we're
aunt was
going to-
freaking out.
Now here we can see the nicest walk in the southern part of England.
You all right?
And they say that every episode.
Here we are again. It's pretty same shit.
No,
really.
this is the nicest walk.
Notice the sun is out. We don't get that very much here.
It's one of those shots like Tom Scott on the like by Dover or whatever. It's like, One of the most interesting spots in all of Middle England is here in Gloucestershire. Psych, very boring. Nothing going on ever.
Now, they have a sidewalk.
Jealous?
I thought it was pretty cool.
Here we are in Gloucestershire's first and last car. We're seeking gasoline and we've recently invaded Iraq.
You can see it's been used to escape Gloucestershire.
Jealous. It was me. A cheese rolled right out of there.
It's in Dragon Ball where they find Trunks' mossy time machine in his carcass.
Did they find me in Goku's pod having escaped
It's
Britain?
skeletal remains. So there's a new Netflix documentary about America's Next Top Model, which, if you haven't seen the show, it is a reality TV program in the heyday of reality TV. Where
Fear Factor, Survivor, that era.
The Real World. It was. I feel like people don't even remember The Real World, but that was, one of the OG reality TV programs. And
Road Rules.
The concept was it was a competition show hosted by Tyra Banks, who was a famous supermodel, like in her kind of peak at that time in terms of like cultural awareness, and was essentially, ostensibly, I should say, taking these young wannabe models under her wing and teaching them the ropes of the industry. And even, I think their mission that they failed on was kind of challenging some of the norms of...
Yeah. It was like Fear Factor, but for models, basically.
Fear Factor, but it kind of
Girl
was.
factor.
They were like, okay, we're going to cover you in meat now. And we're going to hang you from the ceiling.
They did some of the... So the challenges, it is in the worst era of reality TV, which was all id. You know what I mean? It was like literally, what can we do for the maximal money and outrage? And there's no societal pushback, really.
Yes.
No, they were like trying to push boundaries. The boundaries were like moving so fast because reality TV was such a hungry monster where it was like, make this more uncomfortable, push this boundaries. Like, we want to see more, bigger, better. And people at that time, like, just weren't really fighting back because they wanted to be on reality TV shows.
And I think that was the expectation of just being like, media requires sacrifice. Like, I'm a painter, so I have to cut my fucking ear off. There was no world where you could just have a show like Love Island where it's basically just people hanging around being hot. They had to institute a Big Brother style game.
Yeah.
It's like, who can wear the whole outfit on their toes?
Yeah. And another thing about reality TV show back then is nowadays you go on a reality show, like let's say Love Island, right? Who the fuck cares who wins Love Island? Because everybody gets social media followers. Like the biggest stars are not the ones that win.
You want, like, the big double-edged sword of reality TV is you want the good edit and you don't want the bad edit. If you get the bad edit, you're a villain.
Yeah, you want the Leah and Rob edit.
Right.
Love Island.
You have to be extremely likable or hateable.
Yes.
And if you are in the middle, you're edited to be boring or hateable.
Yep.
Yeah. You've, like, some of the, like, we had, and then the actual conceit of the reality TV was so, like, it was at a extremely repressed time in our society where it's like you had A Shot at Love with Tila Tequila was a dating show where the conceit was, get this, Tila Tequila's bisexual.
Right.
And she dates guys and girls. That's provocative. That's crazy.
Right.
And we're gonna kind of take all of these things to the extreme. The first run of Queer Eye for the Straight Guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
the novelty was how odd it was, not how interesting it was.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that be fucked up?
Or the show where there's like some of the shows that didn't work where it was like the show where you're just judging people on how hot they are. And
I Want to Marry Harry.
I mean, in a way, America's Next Top Model is a little bit judging people on how hot they are.
It's true, yeah.
But,
and back then with reality TV shows, like the prize was whatever you get when you win,
right?
Because there was no social media to gain along the way. So it was either you win and you get. So with America's Next Top Model, it was like you get a contract with this agency and you get this and this and this.
A sponsorship deal with this lotion brand.
Yeah,
or whatever.
exactly. Which, come to find out, spoiler alert, didn't end up actually doing anything for them.
Yeah, because they
actually
were
was bad.
They were reality TV stars in a time where, because social media didn't exist, because there wasn't this like ownership of an audience where these corporations could find value in influencer marketing, et cetera, they were like, what do we care? You're a lesser than. You're a contest winner. Yeah, you won a contest to be here. You didn't earn your stripes.
Yeah, it's like
why would I
with
want
these...
you to like? I don't want. I run H&M. I don't want people looking at the summer sale and going like, "Oh, it's that weirdo."
That's exactly
from
what it was. Is they
thing.
were like, when we're kind of jumping ahead, but it's important to note is like when they won America's Next Top Model, they were actually less marketable because it was like, okay, if you're gonna walk down the catwalk wearing Gucci, nobody gives a shit what you're wearing because
They're like, it's the person that we know from the thing.
and
Which
we've seen
now-
all your tea.
It is so weird that now that is an asset. It
Now
would
that's
be
an
like,
asset.
oh, from the thing, and not
Yeah.
from that thing.
Yeah.
It is weird because, and we are jumping ahead, but they don't have that same issue with regular celebrity endorsements.
No.
But I think it's because reality TV was considered, reality TV is now, it still has a lower prestige than, your Hollywood, but the numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
And I think now they have to respect the size of the audiences that people can generate.
I'd say the value of a follower of George Clooney is, or I'd say even more contemporary, like a Glenn Powell superfan is less.
Doesn't exist.
He's
but
like a less
continue.
valuable asset than a superfan of trad mum with an entirely beige house that makes their own toothpaste.
Right.
Like that is it's just so much more valuable, so much more
no,
spending
you get
capital.
like it was like Huda, I think, from like Love Island. Like, I mean, she could come off the island, do a couple brand deals, and call it a day
Buy the
because
fucking island.
everybody like wants what they're so hot right then. Especially like Leah. Like Leah came off and she now has her own. Like she bought like I think it was like a makeup brand, and like she is like
Did she win?
Nick and
powerful.
Alandria
didn't even win.
I mean, it's happened in American Idol too. Like American Idol winners, like Kelly Clarkson, Carrie Underwood, though they won, but you had like all of these people who didn't win, like
what's the country guy?
Adam Lambert and
Kid Rock.
Chris Daughtry, and like all these people had like way bigger careers, not winning the show, getting eliminated early than the people who actually won, because it's all about, are people endeared to you? Do they like you? Do they want to support you?
Is that like ephemeral? Like now, I think you couldn't really boil it down to science quite yet. But I think it's kind of the like, what's porn, what's softcore? You know it when you see it. I feel that way about like celebrity style. Like I couldn't name the genre or type of engagement, but if you showed me one and said, okay, this one's going to promo cornflakes, and then you showed me another one, this one's going to promo cornflakes, I'd be like, it's that one. And I don't know why, but they're the right one. And at this time, it's like, no, they're just like disposable assets that are X level of famous, and then I'll just chuck them away. I don't care.
Now let's talk about some of the challenges. So the challenges are usually these high concept photo shoots because they're models, and that's like what we'll have to do. And they come up with some sort of conceit where they say this is super important about being a model. And then the things they do a photo shoot in raw meat.
Yes.
They do a photo shoot where
they did
they're
like the 7 deadly sins where
Seven
each
Deadly
of them
Sins.
did that.
one of the crazier ones is they all pose as victims of horrible crimes.
Yes.
So a woman who's shot in the head.
Is she okay?
Well, you have to watch the show to find out.
Yeah, and then she's like, my story is I've actually been, and this is, I guess, trigger warning for like body horror or descriptions of bodily violence, but it's obviously fake for the TV.
Yeah.
My backstory is I was disemboweled and all of my organs were removed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I've really got to get into character.
I got to get into
Is
character.
this what heaven's like? People
And Tyra
trauma
Banks
dumping
is
the
there.
crazy way they died.
Yeah.
Tyra Banks is, I assume, there.
Oh, you died
Show and
in
tell.
your 90s from a long-term disease. Oh, I had my head exploded by a semi-truck, but I guess I'm more interested.
It's like, you know how friends do like the PowerPoint catch up? Have you seen those? It's like you do that when you get into heaven. You're like, okay, we'll check.
Yeah, I got some. So this documentary looks at some of the, and these are the surface level problematic things. And so this documentary goes back and looks at,
And brings, this is the craziest part. I don't know how, it must have been a paycheck. They bring Tyra, bring the other, I don't remember the other two. Miss
doing like
J.
Miss J,
Yeah.
Manuel,
Derulo. Okay.
close enough.
Okay.
And then the British guy,
Oh, Nigel
Nigel
Barker.
Barker.
all the pieces.
Yes.
Nigel Barker.
Wordle goes crazy.
Yeah.
Audio.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they bring them all back, and obviously all of them have so many complications and demons and conflict with each other. And
they also have the showrunner.
the showrunners
who is like because Tyra was, she was an important part of the creation of the show, but she wasn't the puppeteer.
Yeah.
She had even
puppet
the
master.
thinnest reason to appear human.
Yeah.
As
She
opposed to
was.
just being
She
evil.
had that's not to let her off the hook. She had an immense amount of power, but she wasn't in terms of the conceit of the show.
Yeah.
The guy who was the puppeteer showrunner had he was coming off of another
yeah.
show that was big.
I have no idea.
I can't remember, but anyway,
Burn the
I think his name's
brother.
like Tom.
Everyone has to set fire to their siblings.
Turned into Big Brother.
Can we look up the guy, Jacob? I just want to have his name. It's like Tom something, maybe.
Yeah, I know who you're talking
I've had
about.
a season of Big Brother, and it's just about who has the biggest brother.
Ken Mock.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not Tom. It's
Did you
3
hear
letters though.
he mocked Cavicula?
He mocked him.
Ken mocked him.
So Ken Mock, can you actually? I'm curious what he made before Top Model, but
The Zodiac killings?
You're gonna say it, and I'll immediately be like, oh, yeah.
right, it's one of those.
Wow, great photo.
Wow, it looks good there.
That's how you know they're really fucking evil, is when they don't have a profile picture at all.
It's like when you look up
I
like
think
the
it's
most
Mock
influential
MOK,
people,
is
and
it
there's
not?
just like no pictures of them.
Well, the top 1%.
Never heard of them.
So there was all kinds of. So we know now. I think of reality show producers as some of the lowest moral people in our society.
Yeah,
Because
they're
like
pot stirrers.
Yep.
they're what?
They're pot stirrers.
Yes, exactly.
Like they're like they get in there and they say like how. And now one of the things they were talking about in the thing too is it's like their job is to get in there and be like, "Did you hear what so and so said about you?"
Well, and that's always, and that's the thing I started to learn from when I would like make videos about reality TV, and you see like they always want to get the shot. And we're going to talk about some of the horrible stuff, and this
Yeah.
and it's going to be, I'm going to have to say some trigger warnings for that when we get to it, but like it's a combination of doing something for the story. For example, in one of the girls' backgrounds, her mother had been shot and was paralyzed and was in a wheelchair. And obviously they know that. And so tell me why, when they do the people who have experienced horrible, like who are dead photo shoot, they have the woman whose mother was shot
like,
be the one who was shot in the head.
I think when
Or like we pulled this one out of the hat.
What do you know?
Crazy.
What
I
are
think
the
it
odds?
is that like the membrane of capital thing where the ultimate justification for anybody who has just accepted, has signed up for, well, but line goes up, is that, well, line went up. It's it's the classic.
It's a Mr.
like,
Beast.
Yes, it's that kind of classic argument when you're like, well, I don't know how to explain humanity to you. I don't know how to explain empathy or care or principle.
Yeah, it's like the boundary that happens in most people's heads that goes. And
no,
they're
maybe
but
just
not.
that's like
Or that
demon.
has empathy or sympathy for your fellow person.
Or even, you know, just cynically speaking, cares if people think they're disgusting.
right.
Like,
yeah.
if I worked on a show, that's the thing. When I'm getting in the way while taking a photo of something or filming something, I'm not like altruistically like, oh, I'm in the way. That is wrong. Little part of it's that, but the other part is like, wow, they're going to think I'm a fucking asshole.
Yeah, I think there's a certain thing where it's like, do I want respect of my peers or the people that are consuming my content? And if your answer to that is no, then it frees you up to do some of the worst shit.
True.
You
New
will-
skill tree unlocked.
Yeah,
actually.
no, literally. And
I
it's got
didn't-
all the best stuff.
Yep.
Okay, horrible. I'm going to try to walk through the tier list of horrible things that they did. So,
Yes.
so first of all, Tyra ostensibly as a woman of color in this fashion industry, which is only like the money is in staying true to all of these existing beauty ideals that are extremely like Western, white, you know, thin, etc. And she is seemingly trying to buck those things. But,
Seemingly.
but then the actions go the other way.
Yeah.
Because this is a thing that was, and this is where Tyra does not come off well in this documentary, she comes off as deflecting almost everything.
Oh, like just even the way she's delivering what she's saying, you're like, there is not a soul behind those eyes, you know?
It's so...
She looks like the kind of person that would grab the back of your neck when she's talking to you, like to make eye contact.
I love you.
It's like how an LLM, like people like fall in love with ChatGPT because it's so like validating and it says all the right things. But I'm like, the soul here is very
calculated,
dark. It's very calculated. And that's like what I'm getting from, and I really liked Tyra Banks from the movie Life Size.
I think that you're the second person that's said that this week. And that's the only thing that I've ever heard anybody say, this is her thing that I liked.
Yeah, she's kind of I would guess I'd compare her to Maid Marian the Fox from the Robin Hood cartoon or some shit.
Yeah.
I don't like that shit, but like...
But a lot of times Tyra will be like, well, it was of the time in our 2020 lens.
She
now,
says 2026 lens.
Yeah, and it's like, well...
The appeal to history thing is always a little iffy because it's like, so you just weren't moral, but it's okay.
It's like sometimes I of course, I'm somewhere in the gray area where a lot of times things are different, you know, from the past, but it's not a thing to like hide behind.
It's
Also-
not the question.
Yeah.
It's an unrelated.
Exactly.
Like, so why did you do that? Like, well, it was 2005.
Well, everyone was doing it. No one
it
would
was.
question it, and we made more money that way.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, why did it
exactly.
change?
Yeah.
What? Like, someone must have.
And it's like, and it changed because, because people, and I do think the internet partially gives like people more community who were in maybe felt like on the fringes of society and felt more emboldened, or like, for example, like when we had the Me Too movement and stuff, where it's like people are finally speaking out, and it was like there was strength in numbers to empower people to speak to an experience that so many women have had, right? And
We think it's good. You don't like it.
Thank you so much.
yeah. And so, tier list of horrible things. Lots of body shaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of body shaming. It'll be like the tiniest woman in the world, and then they'll call her fat.
It's like, it's that one girl that they were like going back to, like when you said they gave the girl the wheelchair one when she had like the history of whatever. It was like there was this one girl that was tiny, and I guess she was the fat one, and so they were like, okay, everybody's gonna get an animal for this shoot. We're all getting different animals, and you're the elephant. Or it was like, we're doing the 7 deadly sins. You're gluttony. And it was like, you're watching this just going, what the hell? But they would do that. They would like find a girl, and then they would decide this was going to be her story.
Right.
And then all of the challenges now are circled around her story. You know what I mean?
It's
It
the
feels
easier,
personal.
less valuable choice.
It feels like a psychological abuse, or what am I saying? It's psychological
No, it was.
torture.
Yeah, it was.
Like, because they are just, you're in this bubble. You can't even leave production after you've been eliminated because of
Yeah,
spoiler
that was
reasons.
crazy.
Yeah. So you just have everyone telling you that you're like a fat monster. And it's
they
like,
have people come into the rooms actually and just yell that at them.
it's like, what the fuck? And
That was also the era, I think, where like, I'm sure there's some kind of cultural term for it, but where there is the simmering of some kind of cultural change, and media knows it needs to reflect that. Everyone's going like, it's like I guess a good comparison would be at the kind of midpoint echelon of the Me Too movement. A ton of extremely cynically produced TV shows would have like a single episode or something, or like
A very
SVU
special episode.
would have an episode where it's just like, yeah, oh my god, there's a Gamergate one where a stand-in for one of the primary figures that was attacked in Gamergate literally is in like the cold open. She just got attacked. She's looking in a mirror. She got like bloody lip. She goes, huh, they leveled up, and it's like, oh. You don't care. Like you hate everyone in the world, but you wanted to make an episode about it.
Yeah.
So like, they're saying like we're into any kind of body matters, and we're here to represent them. And you got to lose weight, man. You look fucked up.
so there's that. There's they also overcorrect later because they have like a plus size woman who even the concept of plus size has like evolved now, and I think that I can't speak for this community, but what I've seen from the plus size community is oftentimes they will still take women with slimmer frames and call them plus size, which doesn't help with the acceptance of like all body types, because it's still conforming. It's conforming to this like kind of normalizing of a standard of what a body should look like.
I like black people, but I prefer light skin. They're like the nice black
Well,
people.
that's the thing. It's like even in there's a woman who is a darker skinned woman, and she was in one of the early cycles seasons, and
yeah, they call them cycles.
They call them cycles, and is that a fashion thing?
I don't think so, but I think it was because they were doing multiple a year.
Eventually,
maybe?
they were doing multiple a year. All right, maybe even from the jump. But first of all, this darker black woman, like, and they're not going to discuss colorism. That's off the table. But what they will do is not have people on hand who know how to cut her hair.
Oh,
and she gets like bald
and she was
spots.
Gay too, so they were like, "Oh, okay."
Pick a struggle.
They were like, "All right."
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so yeah, they cut her hair. They don't know how to cut her hair.
Yeah.
She gets like bald spots in her hair from the cut.
Yeah.
Then they, she said that like, cause she's in the documentary now, and she's obviously this gorgeous woman, and is talking about how when that happened, she thought Ty was going to come and talk to her as a woman of color, like, hey, as a black woman specifically, and be like, oh, hey, this wasn't cool. But instead was like, oh, the producers think you're coming to set ashy.
Yeah.
And you need to moisturize.
So
and
then that became like a plot where they were like the other girls now, and they were like, okay, well, here's like 6 different products to use. And then the other girls were like, so the door handles are kind of oily.
Yeah, you're too oily now.
Yeah. And it just became like a whole story.
And it's like, this woman cannot fucking exist. Like, just let her be.
The door handles are oily.
Yeah, because you're...
No. You can,
They did. They had like a sit, and it was like, it was like 3 girls, and then the other girl was sitting across, and they were like, we don't know what kind of products you're using, but like, there's oil all over the house.
That's gotta be, was it Ken Mock?
Yeah.
Ken Mock sneaking in with a little bit of cocoa butter and wiping it over there. There's
No,
just
literally.
no way.
Like that's the thing. It's like, because we don't know, and I have to believe that everything they did was like this, where it was done for there's no integrity to the competition, because they would put people, like they took photos, and you remember what photos and poses you did, and then you'd go up and they'd show a photo that's clearly like one of the worst photos you took, and then they'd shit on you for it.
They'd
And
be
it's
like, so you're drooling in this one.
Yeah.
Is that the best one?
This one's blurry. Why'd you make it blurry?
Yeah,
the photographer just
you
selfie?
blinked, it looks like, in this one. Why were you having your eyes closed the entire photo shoot? And we will watch clips once we've continued setting the stage of how horrible this is. So,
and this is because I didn't watch the doco. I'm just mainly from YouTube videos. I've seen some of the more sinister stuff.
And it's like Court Reezy. I remember a couple of years ago. There's like clips of Court Reezy, friend of the show, in the
documentary.
Yeah. I've actually seen her in 2 documentaries. She's got a good reaction face for stuff.
Rotten Mangoes has got to be in a doc by now, right?
I haven't seen her in one yet, but you would imagine.
Maybe the Diddy one.
But yeah, so I've seen people talk about this, but the worst one. Oh wait, no, there's one more that I need to talk about. Girl had a gap, which is something I relate to.
The dentist one was pretty rough.
This was crazy.
Yeah.
So there are 2 women who, one woman had like, I don't know what the term is for like a snaggle tooth.
I don't
like, it's like,
no.
Do we have another term for that? But anyway,
I don't know.
She had like a snaggle tooth, and then they're like,
she had like a tooth. Yeah, she
it
just
was
smile
like a
just
tooth
had like
that
a
pushed forward.
Yeah. And so they took her to the dentist, and then they had her do like a all-day surgery to like remove the teeth and like move her teeth around and give her veneers, basically.
Yeah.
Swap the sides.
Which you know what's funny is about that part, when I was watching that, maybe I wasn't really paying attention. They never really clarified whether it panned out to give her better teeth or if they weren't better.
Oh, she did talk about it. So,
okay.
So real quick, they had her do this so a couple things. These girls are all young. They're like 18 to 21 usually.
But another good reason they're probably not pushing back on like anything that's happening is that they have children.
Yeah, no.
Exactly.
You know, like,
not to mention, in this dental thing, they were like they like got a waiver to sign, and they didn't have like any one in their corner to be with them when they were like signing away the rights, and then basically
wouldn't
like,
have even been allowed to, probably. Like, they weren't allowed to make calls or like call in. They'd be like, we don't have phones anymore.
It literally is. I mean, your first job, you can be told pretty much anything.
Yeah.
You'd be like, your name is spelled with an O.
Like,
You're Sam.
I
always
still
been
feel
Sam,
like
I guess.
I don't think that reality TV producers are demons exactly, but I do think that like they exhibit demon behavior when they are all in this group think of like that
well, they
system.
don't want to be the guy that's like, that's too much, because that guy gets fired.
That's
because
too good of an
ratings want
idea.
more.
They're basically saying like, that's too good. You shouldn't do the thing that's really
You
good.
know what? This is good enough. We did it. Let's just do it this way forever.
Let's just make it so he was evil because he had autism.
So this one girl, like they remove her teeth and they basically getting veneers is like a big operation. They shave their teeth down and do the veneers thing.
And it's something you have to cater the rest of your life. You don't just leave them forever.
She said that when she was young, she had this like inferiority thing about her teeth, and so she felt like she was like winning the lottery to be able to do this.
Yeah.
But that's part of that's the power they wield against you.
Well, and they also would say, if you don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. And so that literally is going to come up in this next person, which we'll get to. But the she said that even today she has problems. Like it was all cosmetic, and none of it was like orthodontically like meant to like actually make her teeth functional. So she has like issues with her bite and stuff that she'll never
nerve
fix.
Stuff, like I would imagine, like
Your
all that
teeth
shit.
shift a ton in your late teens, early 20s.
Well,
Like, they change
it's like
still.
you're still shifting so much, and also those women were like much smaller, like their skeletons. You know what I mean? So it's just like there's so much.
They still
that's
had
gonna
their baby
happen in here.
teeth poking through.
And so then the other girl had a gap in her teeth.
Yeah.
And then she goes into the dentist and they're like, do you want to do anything about the gap? Anything about that gap? And then she was, And then she said, no, I want to keep the gap. It's a part of me or whatever. And then
It's also like a storied model look. Like
At
that point,
Tyra said no.
but that's also a lie because
Twiggy?
there were famous models at that point
Yeah,
who
that
had
was
gaps.
Twiggy, like the iconic model at that
Yeah,
time.
that's
like,
what was so weird to me. Anyways,
But yeah, so then she goes back and then Tyra like has a whole conversation with her about like how she didn't want to do anything about the gap. It's not a model look or whatever, and basically gives her an ultimatum where she's going to get eliminated if she doesn't get her gap removed.
It was so weird because she was like,
Madonna
do you
have
think
to
that
do
you're going to do a CoverGirl ad and anybody's going to pay
Madonna's not
attention? They're just going to be looking at your gap. I feel like makeup, that just like makes
Why
sense.
would people look at it? All they're going to be doing is looking at you.
I also
we don't want that in an ad.
I'm someone who like had a gap and then I got braces, and it was a thing where they asked me if I wanted
Yours was the center of your forehead.
They asked me if I wanted to keep it, and for me, I just felt like it was a little silly to get braces for 2 years and like not do
I did
the
the
whole
same thing.
But it's like, but I also, before I got braces, I really had to like look inwardly and decide. I wanted to make sure I was comfortable with myself before I like made changes for like other people, you know? And
I just wanted to not think about it forever. Like that's the thing. Same with like getting like a preemptive heart screening or something. I'm just like, well, I don't want to wonder whether I would be happier without. Because
I've
I don't know
tried.
why mine doesn't anymore, but this tooth used to pretty much be sideways, and like I couldn't bite into an apple right and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm self-conscious. I wonder if it's only that, and it's not only that, but it also feels good to. I don't know if this resonates with you guys. It doesn't even really matter how successful something is. It feels really good to be making forward momentum.
Yeah.
You might not like be feeling any stronger, but like going to the gym at least feels like next time I'm like, I don't like my body. I'm
I
like,
do
but I'm
that
doing
when
something.
I get a gym membership. I'm like, well, I'm basically strong now. I've done the
Arnold.
work.
every time the direct deposit hits or deducts,
I'm
it's like,
you know what? I should
I
have
feel
an
stronger,
crossover.
actually.
brother.
Yeah.
24-hour fitness. I'm working out. That's
exactly.
so long.
The
I drive past it. I go, good job.
Wakanda forever, Ruth Conda forever. But yeah, so then she like, I guess decides that she wants to stay on the show and then gets it like diminished. She still has a gap now, so I'm not exactly sure what happened in that.
They may have said, I could be totally making this up, but I think they may have said something about her reversing it. But yeah, Tyra says, get the gap filled or you're out. And she goes,
How does that work? So it wasn't braces.
I don't know. I don't know how they address
probably
in
the
this.
same way they do veneers. It's just they build it closer, build the teeth out.
Out of tooth.
As a like usually
fang.
usually a gap is caused by this thing in your bone. It's like a diastema or whatever. And so like I have a internal retainer, and my gap will open up if that retainer is removed. But a lot of the stuff for me was like I did all the orthodontic work because my bite was fucked up. So a lot of it was like fixing my bite, and now I have a functional bite. So just doing the things just for like cosmetic, because I had an open bite before, like my teeth wouldn't do the scissor thing that they're supposed to do. If I bit into a burger or a slice of pizza, it could just pull it right out of my.
Yeah, I had a crossbite, so I had a palate
Yeah.
kind of functionally did what braces do. And then I had Invisalign later, and then they put the built-in retainer, and then it came out like a week later. And I was like, I don't want that in anyways. And then they were like, well, you have to wear the retainer at night for the rest of your life. And I said, I'm going to do that for 3 days, and then I'm going to forget about it forever.
The internal
That's not what I
retainer.
said. I said you have to wear it for
The internal retainer is huge for me, but it makes flossing really annoying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it just like hits it.
Well, you have to use like a threader to like get into the teeth. It's
I'm
a
a
pain,
big flosser,
but you know. So there's two more horrible things, and I do feel like we should watch clips for one of the horrible things at the very least, which is the blackface one.
Which they did not once, but twice.
You have to hit
two
this.
different cycles.
They did
When
it
it's on,
two
you
different
have to.
seasons.
Oh, you hate Ryan Coogler?
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's calling you.
It's everybody today.
Wakanda.
They did it in 2 separate seasons, and then also in a later season, they expanded someone's gap.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Right, because
They
isn't
took the
that
gap
awesome?
from the other girl.
Right. Double it and give it
Empty space.
double it and give it to the next person.
Like they open up the jar and like careful.
It's just nothing.
With like tweezers.
So the horrible thing that I don't want to watch clips for. So trigger warning for sexual assault.
Oh, yeah, that one's...
So essentially they have like a day challenge thing where they're like going around Italy on these like mopeds, and then you get to choose your moped driver. And then at that night they were like, hey, do you want to have the moped guys come over and we like get in the hot tub and drink and whatever?
Oh, was it like a choose the and it's the hot Italian guys on mopeds? That was like the okay, right.
Yeah. And so then they come over. One of the girls who's like 21,
Shanty?
Shanty,
Yeah.
gets really drunk, like blackout.
Yeah.
And then
Because she was like, we haven't been eating all day. We've been running around town, like exhausted.
and these models
We're
are
tiny.
like past. I mean, also trigger warning for like eating disorders.
Yeah.
But like these, like it happens multiple times where a woman passes out because she's not eating.
Yeah,
Or they're
yeah.
constantly being body shamed. Like you just can't.
And the production provides the food. So if
Yeah.
they don't want you, it's not like you can do anything
There was
about
this
it.
one scene with this girl. She was talking about it. How it was the girl that they were like trying to basically fat shame.
Yeah.
And it was like they would give her edits that would like she'd be eating one bagel, and then they would edit it to be like, okay, the bagel's halfway done, and then now we're gonna edit it to be full
A new
again to make
bagel.
it look like she was just slamming bagels. And so it was like yeah, that.
And then people are commenting about it because it's like, you know, in a reality show, they're like, all right, everybody in Love Island, they do this where when they're all sitting around a thing, the producer tells them like basically what to talk about.
Yeah.
And or what they should be talking
Yeah.
about. And so it's like, I feel like they're doing that. And then they're like, yeah, she's just always snacking.
Yep, exactly.
Did you see her eat that growing bagel?
Yeah. The bagel just kept coming back.
And so
Maybe she's confused.
and then the way that Shandy describes it is that she's like blacking out.
Plus in a hot
it-
tub, which makes you
That
get
also,
fucked
yeah.
up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And then she was like in a shower and she was with this guy. And then the storyline in the show becomes they're having sex in the shower. And then she's talking about how she's blacking in and out and never remembers like consenting to anything.
Yeah.
And
It was an unspoken, like it was non-consensual. She was like, I was
it
blacked out.
couldn't be.
Yeah,
couldn't
no.
be.
Yeah.
It couldn't be. She
No,
was
no.
impaired to
Yeah.
beyond the point of consent.
Which I
Yeah.
think is one of, I mean, I'm guessing no, maybe they don't say it, but that's certainly one of those things that I feel like the cultural consensus was
Still an issue now, but even more at the time.
yeah, that's the answer. If it happens, she could consent. And if she didn't,
The
it
big
couldn't.
thing they leaned on with her was she had a boyfriend. And so they were like, well, 2 things. The first thing about this is I remember them saying with the filming. So they filmed all of it.
They
all of it was
filmed
filmed.
all of it.
And the policy with these girls going into the bathrooms, they said, okay, if one person goes alone into the bathroom, we don't film, obviously. But because she was with this guy, that greenlit the cameraman to be able to go in and film. So then they were filming this. And then because she had a boyfriend, they were like, okay, here's the next plot in this story. We're going to make you call your boyfriend.
The plot
and
is
tell
about
him.
her cheating and not this essentially what I believe was at the very least coercive, but like seemed like sexual assault.
Yeah.
Occurs. They make it about her cheating on her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she was too drunk to consent. This is not a person who's making a decision.
Which even kind of seems like a setup anyway, because if I'm thinking about the demonic production room, their pitch is not like, there'll be a bunch of hot Italian guys and they'll have a great weekend. It's like there'll be a bunch of hot Italian guys and then one of the ones that with a boyfriend won't be able to resist. And then the story
It's like stochastic terrorism. It's like we just put these people in this situation.
No, the
odds that
producers
something...
are salivating. They're watching this happen go, okay.
There is a thing where I'm like, Ken Mok is a demon, actual demon incarnate. When I hope it's him who says it. And if not, then he's only a demon in theory for everything else. But where they say, oh, it's like a documentary. We have to capture everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, you are like bullshitting through your fucking eyes, teeth, and mouth because you are faking so much of this bullshit.
Yeah.
You are creating all these storylines. It's not a fucking documentary.
Yeah, it's a documentary, but you get to choose the plot.
It's a documentary of
which is not a fucking documentary.
It's not war journalism.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
it's a documentary about a thing you made.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
This needs to be reported. People need to know what I'm doing.
Yeah, they were like, once that became a plot point, we had to continue capturing it.
Yeah.
What do you mean you had? It's like you were compelled by the forces of God.
Yeah. Well, the Shanty, one of the things she said is, she had to call her boyfriend. Her boyfriend was obviously very distraught. She's laying on the ground sobbing on the phone.
All filmed, by the way.
And then these guys
another
are filming.
country and
they're
like,
filming this whole breakup, and then she said that the two cameramen, like when they were done filming her just sobbing on the ground, said, "I'm sorry that we had to film that." So it was like the cameramen were
I'm
like,
sorry you had to film it too.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
It's like the cameramen are still going to film it, but they're aware. They're like,
so
this is fucked up.
There's like a cult essentially.
Yeah.
It's
a cult.
We can't go against the glorious leader.
And it's like, it's weird. It's like, I do tend to place more of my blame in the people who are putting these people, vulnerable people in these situations.
But I also don't think no matter how tasty the cake that the Westboro Baptist Church gives me, I don't think I'm lining up with this shit. I think if I was on the production team of that thing, maybe I'm virtue signaling. I think I would not just stand around.
There was another one worth bringing
same.
up because it's in the same vein, and I can't remember the girl's name, but it was when they did the shoots with those guys that were dancing on them.
Mm-hmm.
And there was that one guy that the moment she walked onto the set, this guy, one of the guys that was meant to be dancing on her, was flirting with her, asking for her number, making her uncomfortable. And then when he was
right, it was like they were in Africa, I think.
Yeah,
and then they had these male models come in, and they were a part of the shoot, and they were like dancing on them as a part of the conceit for the shoot.
And so that one guy, he was dancing on her, but he was touching her a lot, and he was like just
he was extremely forward. He was asking for a number. This stuff is unprofessional, by the way. In a workplace.
I mean, just
and not that ship sailed a long time ago, but like at the very least, this is extremely unprofessional.
Yeah, it was like unprofessional, gross.
It's in the show.
Yeah, it's in the show.
Which show?
In America's Next Top Model.
Not the documentary about
in the original airing of America's Top Model, we see him flirting. We see him non-consensually touching her. We see him asking
framed
for her
that way,
number.
or framed more like, hey.
I would say it's
framed that way,
framed
but like
it's
2000s
flirty.
TV of like,
He's flirty. He likes her, and she's like, she's trying to not make a fuss.
The music is maybe a little more generous.
Yeah.
Like,
But it feels like there's a gun to your head. The camera is like a gun to your head, and you're committing like career suicide if you don't behave.
And she does at one point. She stops everybody and she says, "I'm sorry, this guy's like moaning next to me. Like this is obviously very uncomfortable." And the camera,
and he's wearing like a loincloth, by the way. Like he's like very.
And the whole set
clothed.
is basically like, "Hey, so we're on company time right now. Can we just like power?"
Yeah, we thought you were upset about something real.
Yeah.
Can you just pipe down and do the shoot?
Yeah, exactly. And it's bizarre because none of this is like behind the scene footage. Like it's just in the show.
It's just in the show.
That's how little people get.
And she brings it up again at the shoot because the photo they used for that shoot is him just like holding her. And she says, this guy was making me really uncomfortable like the whole time. And Tyra says, well, when guys are doing that, like, you don't need to like stop everybody and make a big deal out of it. You can just, jovially be like, "Hey, buddy, back up." Like, hee hee ha ha. Like, she's basically saying, if you need to tell a man to fuck off, say it in like a funny way so you don't hurt their feelings rather than wasting everyone's time.
Typically, if a guy is making unwelcome contact with you and being pushy, the number one thing he'll react to is words. And
Yes,
being
normally
cordial.
saying no, thank you always works.
Like, oh, my.
And then I'm pretty sure
Princess, I had no idea.
I'm pretty sure 2026 Tyra like just says all I was trying to do is teach her the things that I've learned.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I understand now through a modern lens why that's not.
Yeah,
like stop to just apologize, bro.
Yeah, every response that Tyra has is either I was unaware that was going on,
That wasn't my department.
I was just trying to come to it from a place of love,
Man,
or
doesn't that still
like,
feel like it's like
it's
if I was on someone's PR who like a figure that'd been present for a while, let's just say like somebody that was a judge on MasterChef for a decade, turns out like they they're friends with like a predator and they kind of didn't, like they kind of knew but they didn't defend them or something. Just, once, this is not actually a veiled reference to something, I'm just trying to think of something. And then they were like, oh yeah, it was kind of a thing at the time. If I was on the PR team, I would genuinely be like, look, I morally believe this, but just cynically, apologize in like a very sincere way, because the age where that showcases weakness or unprofessionalism is over.
Yeah.
We're now in wholesome Chungus era.
Yeah.
You are supposed to do that, and people will be like,
Yeah, we're in the
wow.
blue-haired liberal era.
Yeah, that's so brave, because people know what you're doing.
Tyra had anybody to help her because her answers were just
They were so bad.
so bad.
Do you think you have to think that way in order to like, because I'm sure that was a decent paycheck, like you said, but like going on a show like that, a part of you has to think like, I can swag this out.
Yes,
They're
she
gonna
absolutely
love
It is the hubris of a career of getting away with it.
Yeah. There was a, like when they brought up the shanty stuff, like she did I think I remember something about that.
Do you remember the
You looking at the roof where the guy's putting on the wig?
do you remember the sexual assault episode?
I don't know. That was
Scratching my chin.
Oh, it was 20 years
I think-
ago.
yeah.
So
Jesus, I mean, the name's the episode by number. That one,
I don't think so.
I wasn't there.
and then it was a little bit like I wasn't there. That was that was Ken Mock.
It's like Susan Boyle was really taking up like
Yeah,
a lot of your time, so I
I
was
had to watch American Idol at prime time.
Shout out. Important cultural moment for us.
All right. Well, anyway, the doc is surprisingly like it doesn't feel like it cleanses or launders their image.
No.
It feels like it shows them being horrible, and then in 2026 them coming to terms with that, and some people do a better job of coming to terms with it than others.
Jay, I think that's his name, Jay.
Manuel
He was the only
or Miss J.
Not Miss J.
J
Bond.
Manuel. J Manuel.
Yeah, Jim. He was the only person, like obviously all of them just made some awful choices, but he was the only one that seemed to have some sort of kind of like real guilt reflection type things,
I agree. I thought that Nigel started off strong, and then he said that thing about basically he victim blamed about the assault thing, and I was like, okay, well, fuck this guy in 2026 as well.
You can tell
They're probably so confused.
And the fact that they all got fired inevitably probably was for the better, because they were able to go, oh wait, fuck that show,
Yeah, they were ousted manually and given enough time to be like,
I think J Manuel had that arc, or J Manuel. Is it Manuel or Emmanuel? It just J Manuel. Jay had. It seemed like more of that introspection because he tried to quit the show and then stayed on as just talent and started to see the show for what it was before he was fired.
oh, was he like Brazena?
Later, like basically he was like, I'm starting to find myself at odds with what we're doing here.
Okay.
I want to leave. And then Tyra like said, I'm disappointed. And then
it was specifically, I think, like the first time they did the like we're swapping races episode.
And he's like, I'm from apartheid South Africa.
And not the right one. not the kind you like.
Yeah, you should definitely. Do you have clips of that?
Yeah, I was like, that's
what
what I was gonna say. Now that we've talked about that, we can watch these clips for the horrors that they are.
Oh, I remember there's a clip specifically where one of the girls is like modeling, and Tyra's like, she's like, think about what your people have been through, or something like that.
She's Italian. Gosh, the name of this episode just really buries the lead, huh?
It really buries the lead.
The girl who is contagious.
Is on. Be ready to show your true colors at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Holy fucking shit! Whoa!
Oh, now they're your true colors.
I was like, wait a minute.
Spiritually, I'm a black woman.
Damn, bro, they came out on extreme difficulty.
Dude, this is, and I'm not letting them off by saying a lot of TV was like this, but I'm saying this is how fucked up that time was, that a lot of TV was like
Dude, it
this.
was so awesome. We used to build things.
They got Tyra mail.
Oh yeah, I gotta sign up for that.
So today, you guys are all gonna have mustaches.
What?
Milk mustaches.
Oh, I forgot that it was.
Oh, they're doing.
Oh, it's a hat on a hat. I forgot about that.
Now there's a twist. We are actually going to switch your ethnicities.
There's this thing where we're gonna swap races,
But the photo shoot, you're gonna have milk mustaches and you're Chinese. And there's gonna
It is, yeah, that's the fact that it's such a hat on a hat, like you didn't need to overcomplicate this.
it's like he was trying to hide it.
Yeah.
So there's like
It's not
everybody has to
racist,
be.
it's about milk.
You have to be Kenyan, and there's this
Your bones
fun.
will be so strong. His bones are the same.
you get, and they're just like, oh my god, thank you, nutrients. I'm about to pass out.
Thank you so much.
Did you say something about racing?
On the persona of that other ethnicity while in the
You know, because
photograph and
ethnicities have
owning-
personas.
Yeah, you know, be it loud, violent,
Yeah.
cool, smart.
Black.
You're gonna be
persona.
an East Indian. Tiffany, you're gonna be Native American. Brittany, an African American woman.
Gryffindor.
We're featuring you as a blonde.
Michelle,
Featuring you.
Is that a secret?
Yeah.
Ema's gonna be an Icelandic Scandinavian. Tatiana, a biracial woman. Wow. Swedish milkmaid.
Wow.
Becca,
they-
really dark, tanned, Italian, Sicilian woman.
It is a little weird that we're swapping your races. Now you, white lady, are going to be a different white lady. Like, I feel like they got off the hook a little
Yeah, was
bit.
this show made in like the late 1800s?
And they threw Milkmaid into that one.
Right.
Yeah, and then like, I don't know, does anybody else want to know? Seems like they're
Doing what they
wanna
can to
trade?
distance themselves from whiteface. They're doing very little of that. It's harder to
This is the future liberals want.
Yeah.
They want to take their beautiful white women and turn them into women of color.
That screenshot, that looks like she's growing another woman out of her neck.
That's what milk does. It genuinely does look like really good CGI.
How did she do that?
She's wearing a black shirt, hoodie.
She does look like a worm.
This is my hunger when someone says there's cookies. Me when someone said lunch just got here.
Everyone's in such a good mood, I guess, because you're not allowed to not be.
You're not allowed to not be. It really is.
Yeah, what are you gonna go? Dang it!
It's when I was.
You're going to be African American.
When I was in the like front row of that Lily Singh taping,
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
it was like, you have to keep laughing. My face was so frozen,
Oh
or it
my
was
gosh.
so pain.
You think we can definitely find it. Did you make it in the edit? Did they put? Because it would
I
be fun
don't.
to
I
find a
don't
clip of you.
remember. I don't. It's like lost media. Does anybody DVR it?
Yeah, did that even happen?
African woman with a head wrap and everything.
Wow, the whole we're going full African.
You know, and that shit.
They really do condense. They're like, you're going to be a traditional African woman. It's like Africa's gigantic.
Content.
Like,
Doing some African shit, probably. I don't know.
yeah, it's like that doesn't narrow it down really, but like because they're doing a cartoon version of racism, like it like makes sense.
Yeah, we're doing all of the races that were in World War I propaganda videos.
Like because the specificity of like you're going to be a Sicilian woman. Sicily's tiny.
Swedish, like Icelandic, African.
Ghetto.
You're going to be from the small Sicilian village of pizza.
It is funny that I'm imagining Italian dad taking issue only with the conflation of Italy and Sicily.
That is, by the way, something that would unironically happen in Black, White, and Bruno would be upset about the Italian racism.
Like, I want to be Native American.
Isn't his name like Bruno Mangione or something like that?
Yeah, his name's Bruno Mangione. His son, pretty talented guy.
Of course, you know we can't always make it easy, right?
It was so
There's gonna
easy
be
before.
Posing with someone.
By the way, that woman looked like just a girl at an anime convention.
That's the look. And you're going to be a weeaboo.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
You want to meet who you're posing with?
Oh yeah, I forgot it's a hat on a hat on a hat.
Jared, come here.
It's a child.
They pose with children, little baby children.
To cut to You should have had the kid go like, what the fuck?
All you girls are gonna have a little 3-year-old with you in your shop.
Why are you involving the children in your demon magic?
Oh fuck!
Jared's
man.
gonna have to unpack that for
This is
a
you-
couple decades.
Protect the children, dude. What the hell?
Oh my god! Can you imagine trying to I was like a kid actor or something?
He's like, could you pull up Hulu?
Whoa! Crazy. Oh, it's only $1 to rent. Let's
Crazy,
Oh my god!
crazy thing is,
Episode.
I think these kids are now like 28.
Yeah.
They're they're all race swapped.
Yeah, that's in this video actually.
That's got to be Swedish, right? That's the Swede.
Well, she hasn't had her makeup on yet.
Oh, that's that was the
I was
later
gonna say
Jose.
they're swapping the kids also.
That is the perfect show. That's what we lost.
Yeah.
So this was 21 years ago. So these people are 24 now.
So fun. I wonder if
They could be on
all
TikTok.
of them know.
They might be.
I feel like they know.
They gotta.
I feel really bad for Michelle that she's got splotches of her face just peeling off. I know that must be really hard, but at the same time, I would never want her to have her child in her arms.
What?
Sorry? Is it,
What?
It's like, what? What are you talking
Is
about?
it? Oh, the girl that's
girl's
contagious.
contagious.
That's right.
It's smallpox. Oh.
Well, she's not really contagious, right?
mean,
because she's around everyone.
Surely.
They're worried about the kids.
That's how they further the story. Like
Yeah.
they have their narrative.
Yeah, her story is that she has leprosy.
The story should be that we're doing blackface.
No, maybe it's so unremarkable in 2006 or whatever. They're like, you really think we can make a whole show
Was
about
black
that?
white was black white in 2005 or 2006?
I think it was 2005.
Because this is 2005 as well. So it was a huge year for blackface.
Dude, the industry must have been making so much money in the
It's like the
shoe
AI
polish.
boom. No, the blackface boom of 2005.
So it was just a bacterial skin infection, likely stemming from makeup bleach process.
Oh shoot.
So I guess they
The industry.
bleached her skin at some point, and then because of that process, her skin was vulnerable.
They bleached
and
her
she
hair,
got
and then they were
a
like,
bacterial skin infection.
it's like
Jesus.
You know-
actually, you're ashy.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was just like the makeup they were using. They were just swapping, sharing makeup, like all that.
Also,
stuff.
like I don't know why they're. This feels like a moot point because you're about to put on race-changing makeup.
right.
Well, but I guess if it's pretend contagious.
Yeah.
Oh, right, because they put it in the title, so that's what it's about. Okay,
She's
so
releasing spores.
so we are gonna watch more of this episode on our Patreon exclusive podcast, Boyz Nightz. But we're gonna
I'm a
leave.
race swapped version of the show.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna be a Sicilian woman.
I'm gonna stick with mine. I don't feel comfortable kind of switching it up.
But thank you, Sam, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Do you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah, Twitch, YouTube.
Say it. What are they? Oh, okay.
Samwitch, SAMWITCH.
Whoa, that was so fast.
Yeah, well,
That's cool.
yeah, that's pretty much it. I stream most days of the week and do YouTube vlogs.
We end every episode of Sad Boys with a particular phrase. We love you.
And we're sorry.
Boom.
Gucci girl, how you doing? How you moving, girl? Moving, girl. How's your day looking? That future girl, yeah, we on now. Take my money, go away, all you want it. Get you rich from me.